Welcome to Organic Dope. I'm joined by Dan Littlefield, my buddy Rob Holloman.
Hey,
How you guys doing?
What's going on?
Doing okay.
We're going to do our first UFC breakdown for UFC 145, Jones vs. Evans. Good card, I think.
I do too. I agree. I'm a little upset though. I had been on the UFC website, checking out these fights, and I've been seeing the little countdown ticker in the corner saying 1 day, and I've totally forgot about the fuel fights because I don't have fuel. So I was thinking this card was tomorrow, or Saturday. So I was like, oh hell yeah, I was all excited and ready to go for these fights from this weekend. And no, it's the one on Fuel TV that I don't even have, so I'm not even going to see.
Which is what, Gustafsson and Silva?
And Silva, yeah.
They talk high of that Gustafsson guy.
Yeah,
I'm saying that right. I don't know.
Yeah, he's going to win. Gustafsson.
I like Thiago Silva. I've been a big Thiago Silva fan for quite a while, and I really hope he can win.
If he's not juicing?
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of...
His arms look kind of big.
Yeah, I'm sure he's not going to be like 16-1 though, like Alistair Overeem, which I'm sure me and Bill would like to say. That's great for us to see because we can't stand the guy. But
that sucks for that fight.
It does suck because I don't know. I know Frank Mir says he's ready for the fight, but is he worthy of the fight, or is it?
They won't split up Mir and Velasquez.
Because I can't see it being that quick.
I saw Dana said that would happen, and I can't see them breaking that fight up.
Because I don't know.
That's a good fucking fight to see where Velasquez is at.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's going to come down. They're both good on the ground. Velasquez is a pretty good wrestler.
Pretty good, yeah.
Yeah.
But is he going to take him down?
Yeah.
Frank Mir just broke Nogueira's arm.
Yeah.
Split that fucker in half.
I wouldn't go to the ground with him at this point.
His fucking arm break looked like mine did from that arm wrestling. It was like twisted in half. Like
I had the picture on my computer. I pulled it up. It was nasty looking. It was snapped completely in half, right in the middle.
That's fucking pretty sick.
And the thing is,
his boxing looks better too. So I almost want to give that fight to Mir.
He won at least won his last fight. Cain Velasquez. His last fight was the title
he just
fight,
got caught.
It?
You can't. Can you really count that against the guy? Like now he sucks because he got caught.
No, don't say he sucks. But
George St. Pierre got caught by Matt Serra. Did it make him suck?
No, but don't you have to?
No, he got caught. It fucking happens.
But don't you have to at least one bounce back fight to show that it wasn't you just got caught?
Yeah, I would. That's what I'm saying. You don't break that up. Mm-hmm. You can't give Velasquez the shot. You pull Mir off and then fuck his chances.
But Mir just won his last fight though against Nogueira impressively. So I think he would deserve if they're going to break a fight.
They're set to fight. That's too good of a fight to break. I still think they give it to Bigfoot.
Yeah, there's always the outside chance they could.
Because fuck Roy Nelson, they don't give a shit about who he fights.
No. Roy Nelson, they're not going to give it to Roy Nelson.
They won't give it to him, but they don't give a shit who he fights.
That's true.
So give it to Bigfoot. Bigfoot's the first fight in the UFC. Why not? You know what I mean? You don't know no better. He's huge. He beat Fedor.
I think there is a legitimate chance they may give it to Mark Hunt because he's on a 4-fight winning streak.
I could see that.
And he's old as shit.
And you probably aren't. He probably isn't going to win, but you never know. He does have that knockout power.
He's got power. Mark Hunt looked real good against his last fight. Who did he fight?
Yeah, he fucking surprised me.
He's looked good at every fight he's had in the UFC.
Was it
except
Congo?
for that first one where he lost by submission.
I think it was Congo.
Was it Congo?
And he beat the hell out of him.
Yeah, he knocked Congo.
They came out, K1 striker, all this shit. I'm like, Mark Hunt, I was like, what the fuck? K1, and he came out there looking like bobbing and weaving, like, holy shit, he was on it.
He's got that crazy power.
He looked good.
Yeah, he was sharp and beat the fuck out of him. So
he said in that post-fight interview that he'd like to fight JDS, so never know.
Who doesn't want to fight for the title?
Yeah. He says he could knock him out.
I don't really want to fight for it.
Can he reach him? He looked like he had good reach on Congo, and Congo's a big guy.
Congo's a big, tall, long guy, and he looked really technically sound. His striking was technical, and his feet had good footwork. Like if you watch the fight, when he teed off, he moved, he'd sidestep move, and he would just land a good connection where he'd get the full power. And you can tell he's strong, just real good with his striking.
Well, it's not going to happen, but John Jones said that he'd fight JDS.
Yeah, but
he thought he would match up good against JDS, and it would be a good fight.
Yeah, I agree. I think
Dana White's not going to put that fight together, not yet, at least.
No, yeah, there's too much stuff going on. They're talking about John Jones and Anderson Silva.
That won't ever happen either.
Which, of course, it's not because in Brazil he's going to get whooped.
Anderson Silva's going to be 38 years old.
I can't wait for that fucking fight.
Me either. It had to come up at some point.
Anderson Silva's 38 years old. He's not going to fight John Jones.
No, they won't make it happen. It doesn't make sense.
Never, unfortunately.
It doesn't make sense.
I want to see Henderson fight John Jones, though.
That'll happen probably next.
Hopefully, I hope so.
He says he's holding out for that.
I just don't see.
Henderson would have probably fought JDS.
Yeah.
They wouldn't give it to him, but he would have taken the fight. I think he put his name in the hat.
Henderson will fight it any weight class he can make.
But I don't think. I just feel if he fights John Jones, I don't think Henderson's going to have a chance.
I think Henderson's awesome, but I can't get past the fact that he lost to Jake Shields.
Jake Shields, I like
got
Jake
out
Shields,
wrestled
but the way he looks.
I mean, maybe the weight cut was huge or whatever, but
he said his back was hurt too, though, during that fight.
That really drops him down to me.
Jake Shields has been disappointing.
Yeah, since he's been in the UFC at least.
Yeah, he's looked great for years, and then all of a sudden he just looks like.
But who's he fighting? You know, they say that about Nick Diaz, and yeah, Nick Diaz is good.
He beat.
But okay, wow, he won 9 straight. Who'd he fight? You know, you're looking at who he fought, and it's
that's
like,
a good point.
Who's your best guy? Paul Daly? I mean,
I think Okami's a good win for him, even though it wasn't supposedly a very great fight. But
I didn't see the fight.
That was the one in Japan. Pretty slow from what I heard. Went to decision.
Okami and who? Who are we talking about?
Okami and Jake Shields.
Oh.
It was Okami's first fight at 170, I believe.
Yeah, all of Jake. He's just... His style's never going to be fun. Nobody wants to watch him, so he's going to be stuck like Fitch.
Yeah.
This site that I go to, MMA Convert, they started doing rankings.
Yeah.
They put up welterweight rankings. Number 1, of course, George St. Pierre. 2 was whoever the hell he's fighting, Condit. Everything seemed close to right. Guess who number 4 was? Johnny Hendricks.
Oh, because he knocked out Fitch?
Because of what? Because he knocked out Fitch. Now he's number 4 in the world. Get the fuck out of here. Nobody even had him on any list whatsoever, and they got Fitch as number 9. So okay, Fitch wins what 20 fucking straight or some shit like that.
23, I think.
Yeah. Well, no. He's
22, 23, wasn't it?
Yeah, something.
He won a shitload. He won for like 6 years straight, right? Except for losing to George St. Pierre,
right?
Who gives a shit? Everybody loses, and he went 5 rounds with him. Then takes a draw to BJ Penn. Who cares? BJ Penn's awesome, so he takes a draw. Then he gets knocked out. Now he's 9th in the world. Like, oh, you suck. Who cares if you just beat 10 guys in a row in the UFC, top guys, you know? And
that's another guy that just got caught.
Now you're number 9, right? And you get caught, so it's not like you can. I can't see how they can count that against him. I mean, sure, he lost. Yeah, he got caught, so you're not awesome because you did get caught. But so did St. Pierre, and he's still number 2 on my pound for pound list.
I kind of felt the same way with who's in this card on Mark Hominick fighting Eddie Yagan, who's pretty much. I mean, who's he? Mark Hominick was just fighting for like the title 2 fights ago, and then he got caught in his last fight, and now all of a sudden he's dropped to. I don't really know who Eddie Yagan. I mean, anybody familiar with him really?
Not at all.
No. I did look him up though.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know much about the guy.
He didn't have. He had some wins. You know, he had a good record.
Yeah,
but everybody who fought, I had no idea who they were.
And and everybody who comes into the UFC, young guy, usually has a good record to start, and then it doesn't usually either stay that way or it stays that way.
However, unless Hominick got his head knocked off his shoulders, you know what I mean, from getting knocked out, if he's loose like Chuck Liddell or some shit.
Hominick, he was the only person that's really given Aldo like a good fight. Really.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I mean, he lost his last fight, but he lost it because he was pumped. He was psyched. He was in his hometown. They were in Canada, and he was just.
No, he got caught.
Yeah, and he was fired up.
Got caught hard and beat up, you know. But I mean, if you get caught, what are you going to do? People get caught.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like, oh, you went in and you got dominated for 3 fucking rounds, got your ass beat in, and then choked out at the end of the 3rd round.
Yeah.
You know, okay, now maybe drop his ass down the rankings, you know, but
because he got
you got caught.
But when you get caught in the first minute of a fight,
right?
Really.
It's 1 minute. Okay, you fucked up, but I don't know. I think he's decent. I still give that to Hominick.
I do too. I have Hominick in that.
Just because I don't know the guy. And
isn't Hendricks supposed to fight Koscheck next?
That's what I had heard. I heard something about that afterwards. After the fight, after the Hendricks last fight,
which is good.
You know, if he beats Koscheck, then
maybe give him a title. I mean,
maybe then
he's good. He's got a lot of wins, you know, but he hasn't beat anybody huge, and he beats Fitch. I don't see how you give him 4th in the world.
No.
But I mean,
but if he beats Koscheck too, then maybe you got an argument for that.
But when's he going to get a chance to get a title fight though? Huh? I mean, it's going to be a while because you got the Condit and the rematch with him and. Diaz. No, it was all right. They can't do the Diaz one because of the drug test.
Because of the drug thing.
That's right. So, have they come up with anything else for that? Is Diaz just going to, or Condit just going to hold out for?
Waiting, as far as I know,
he's going to hold out for
waiting,
GSP.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how long? I mean,
At least October.
So Henderson's got the fight.
More like November.
At least. I mean, is Henderson really going to take like 2? Like, how long is that layoff? Is that for Henderson? Because by the time GSP comes back and fights for the title, and then you got to give Henderson the fight. I mean, is he going to sit around and wait a year to get a fight, or is he's going to have to fight at least 2 more times, and then get him 2 more fights, and then we'll see where he's at. You know, if he beats Koscheck, and then give him another fight, and then if he gets to that one, see where he stands then, and then get him a title. But
there's plenty of people for them to put up against. You know.
Yeah, I just don't see how you push that guy out that far because of that.
I don't either. That's what I'm saying.
Who knocked Koscheck out that time? Was it
Paulo Thiago?
Yeah, was he all of a sudden ranked number 4 on people's list because he knocked out Koscheck?
I think last time Paulo Thiago fought was just recently. It was on a Facebook fight. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I think lists are hard anyway.
Yeah.
Anything to do. You could do top 3, top 5 possibly, but when you start getting into top 10,
it's hard. It's hard. It's so
even
hard
on my
tell.
pound for pound when I do it, I start getting into the bottom 5. Like, God, dude, it's so hard to put in every different way. And I look at how they lost, how they won, who they won.
Did they just get caught? Did
they
get beat up? Did they get dominated? Did they go 5 rounds?
Can they fight?
Did they have a split decision? I mean,
I don't usually agree with anybody's list. I mean, I see Boss Ruten's list on Inside MMA, and I never agree with it. And he's, former world champion. He's pretty much know his shit, too.
Boss Ruten's a little off in the head.
Everybody's got their own styles.
Yeah, I don't agree with anybody.
My judging from fights is different than everybody else's, it seems. Because I always give different than you do.
Yeah.
The only one that's on my side, I think, is Dana White. We always match up, don't we? They'll be like, oh, I think so-and-so won this fight. Who was the last one that was close? I thought Frankie Edgar beat Ben Henderson. I mean, I know he took more damage, but if you go by points and how the fights went, I give Frankie... I watched it twice. Live, when I watched it, I gave it Frankie rounds 1, 2, and 5. And then when I rewatched it, I gave him 1, 3, and 5.
I just don't think any judges are going to give Frankie Edgar the fight when his face looks like that. Like, no matter what the criteria is. I know we're not going by pride rules, but I just don't think they're going to... I mean, he looks like he's...
So let's say Anderson Silva, Chael Sonnen doesn't get choked out, and he makes it through that round.
Right.
Are those judges that judge that fight going to give that to Anderson? Because Anderson had a little mouse on his eye. After taking 300 punches to the face, and Chael Sonnen looked like he came out of a meat grinder.
No, they're going to give it to the person that looks
took like
dominant.
30 punches to the face, and every single one of them, I think, gave blood. There was elbows. He had marks. It was like, dude, you didn't even get hit. You were on fucking top the whole time. Some of those shots from the bottom were fucking him up, and I don't even think he goes down this time. I don't even think the fight hits the ground.
It's going to be hard to push back against that much fan reaction. I mean, they're saying there could be like 80,000 people there.
Yeah,
it's going to be huge.
It's a 90,000 person stadium.
No. They said that this other stadium isn't that big. The one that they wanted to do,
they'll get 90,000.
It's supposed to be is hosting something else, so it's not to be somewhere else. And they're only saying it's going to be like 45,000, which is still going to be.
It's going to be crazy though.
I thought they were going to break records. They should.
45,000, I'm pretty sure is a record. The previous record
was they even
Toronto,
the UFC did.
Toronto was a big one in Toronto.
Yeah, wasn't that like
56,000?
George St. Pierre and Jake Shields was.
It was close to 60,000. It was just under.
Maybe the new one was 65,000. I can't remember, but it wasn't that one.
But the MMA, they got pride fights or boxing fights at that. I think Mayweather and De La Hoya was like 90,000 or 85,000.
Who
fucking
champion?
cares?
I don't, because I don't have a damn clue. that was my point.
Mayweather, Pacquiao, those are the guys you want to see fight.
Yeah, those are the only guys I ever hear about.
No, and I think Mayweather wins anyway.
Yeah,
I have watched a little boxing just between those guys and who they fight.
It's all about money. They can't come to any kind of agreement about the money.
They were offered $75 million apiece at one point.
Oh. That's ridiculous.
$75 million apiece. Make that fight happen. But the thing is it worth it for them? And the way they should look at it is, we shouldn't be talking about boxing probably, but is it worth it for $75 million right there? If one of them loses, they're losing more. They're losing a lot of shit. You know what I mean? Their credibility's down. Everything's down. They don't make as much money in all these fights. Is it worth it, or are they going to fight for 5 more years and make $20 million a fight, no matter what anyway, for 5 more years, as opposed to one fight at 75 and now you're down to making $2 million again?
Every boxing promoter has their own agenda, and none of them really want to put the fights together that fans want to see. I mean, they're only caring about their fighter and how they come out looking. They're not, it's not like Dana White and Joel Silva who wants to put the fights out the fans want to see. It's not about that.
They keep with the image. The UFC is going to keep them around as long as they're good. If you fucking suck, you're gone.
Look at Dan.
Well, what's wrong with that? I mean, what are you going to keep? Should Emmitt Smith still be playing on the Cowboys? Should Ozzie Smith be playing for the Cardinals at fucking 60 because he could do backflips? I mean.
But look how many fights Dan Hardy's lost. I mean, he lost like 4 or 5?
But they're good fights. It's like Vanderlei Silva.
Yeah, as long as
I was going to say Vanderlei Silva, the guy who's like.
He lost 11 fights in the UFC or some shit.
And he's still.
As long as it's exciting, they're going to keep him around the UFC. I think
he fights. When he loses, though, was it good? Hardy's a big guy, for that size, but
he hasn't fought in a while though.
Did he get cut or no?
No, he didn't.
I was real big on him, and especially after he fought George St. Pierre, he looked good. I thought he had been looking good.
He didn't get tapped out.
And then after that, I've just seen him not look good at all.
But I wasn't sure if that fight, if it was that he just was good at getting out of being tapped out, or if GSP just didn't want to break his arm. Because at some point in time, I mean, he had him in some moves that literally that it looked like he could have just broke it, and he just didn't break it, and he just kept twisting.
He's got good submission defense, is what I think. He ain't got good takedown defense, but
yeah, he got taken down over and over in that fight.
Chris Lotto beat him though by submission, so
I'm excited to see Rory MacDonald fight. To be honest, Chi Mills, he's another guy that I was kind of like. I don't really know about.
They're big on him though, man.
Yeah, I seen he had the one fight against.
They're big. He lost. Was it him that lost the?
No, he won. He won his only fight in the UFC. He beat Chris Cope from the Ultimate Fighter show. Which, I mean, Chris Cope is who's Chris Cope? I mean, he didn't even place.
That's right. Didn't he knock him the fuck out or something?
Yeah, he got beat up. He got caught, and then he got drilled. And I watched the fight earlier before I came because I was trying to see a little more about him, and I couldn't find anything. But I found one of the fights on the UFC site. And he knocked him out, drilled him with some knees, and the ref let the fight go a little long and took another big knee to the face. Cope did, but other than that, it didn't seem like Chi Mills should be fighting Rory MacDonald. I feel like to Rory MacDonald, this is kind of like
why? Yeah, but he's kind of unknown too.
Rory MacDonald.
Yeah, but Rory MacDonald, though, he's got wins over. I mean, he lost to Condit. He's beat Nate Diaz, and he's beat Mike Pyle. But
he was only.
I mean, he's got some wins.
He was only.
He was beating Condit.
Yeah, he was only 8 seconds.
He was winning that fight.
Yeah, he was. So I mean, when
I see that guy fight, I see him overpowering everybody he's with. I don't know if it's just his leverage and his technique.
He just threw him around like a
ragdoll. Like he's nothing. And he's a tough guy.
Honestly,
he's hard to throw around.
I think Rory MacDonald's on a different level than most of the people.
He says he's moving up to 185 too. He says he's going to get the title at 170, and then he wants to go to 185.
I think the UFC is building him up kind of slow like they did Jones. He's building him up slow like they did Jones. They're giving him kind of what you would consider mediocre fighters to fight against when he should be fighting more caliber like Condit.
Upper end guy.
Because I mean, he was really close to beating Condit.
He's going to get it after this when he wins. Because I think he.
I've got him definitely winning. And
I mean, he could be the champion.
I think TKO if it goes early.
Maybe not right now, but in a couple of years,
he's a definite future champion, and then possibly 2 weight classes.
I think TKO. If he goes early or he submits him.
I was thinking this could be a submission of the night.
The Shea Mills guys, I did notice that only 2 of his wins were by decision. So the guy only, he's in these quick fights. Does he have the? Can he go that far? Hey, he'll go forever. He looks like he'll go 6 rounds. Yeah. Even when he's gone 3, he never looks tired. He's sharp. He's composed.
He's always composed. In the fight against Pyle got him down on the ground, I think 2 or 3 times. And both times he was real steady. He was real calm. Looked like he doesn't look like he's 24, 25. He's young, or 26 maybe. But he looked well experienced, and he looked great. He got back up easily. He got in a bad position a couple times and took some shots, but he got back up and finished the fight. I mean,
Rory MacDonald's only 22.
22? Okay.
22,
yeah.
You got to look at it this way. I mean, he just dominated Nate Diaz, and Nate Diaz is going in for a title eliminator right now against Jim Miller. I mean, he could have a title shot soon, and he just got his ass whipped by him. I mean, this guy is highly underrated at this point.
I'm really big on him. I think he's a next big thing.
I think my dog's going to break through that door.
He's going crazy.
Might be quieter to have him inside. I think he wins regardless.
I do too.
Fucking tough. I think he's the one that's going to take out St. Pierre.
yeah, he's gonna be. Well, he trains with GSP in the TriStar gym in.
Oh, so they won't fight? Is it
gonna be one of those things? But
yeah, but I mean,
they'll just bring him up afterwards because St. Pierre's getting old too.
That's the same. We have the same thing with St. Pierre and Condit. They fight. Or they train in the same area.
I like that fight. Yeah. Condit's tough, man, and St. Pierre's been off a long time and off a knee surgery. So
it's a bad knee surgery too. ACL,
and MCL is both of them.
It's bad. I mean,
yeah, it's tough, and the knee's fucked up. So Condit could definitely.
You could argue that George St. Pierre's biggest asset in that fight is his speed and ability to take Condit down. He may not have that anymore after that knee surgery.
And you got Diaz is quick too.
Yeah, that punch, that explosiveness that he had.
Yeah, he may not have that ability to change levels and take him down real fast. You know, like
at the same time, he probably knows that through training, and I don't see St. Pierre. I think St. Pierre will be the guy that gets out before he goes down.
Before his body starts to fall
he's
apart.
not going to be that one fighting for the last win like Matt Hughes before he goes out. I think he's going to be a champ, and when he can't do it anymore, he's going to be done.
Like, I'm done.
I actually think Condit's going to beat St. Pierre.
I do too. I feel the same. I thought this
it's going to be
before he got hurt.
I thought before he got hurt he had a really good shot and he had the best shot.
Mm-hmm.
I think even when they wanted Diaz, I told you that I wanted that fight. I thought that Condit had a better chance.
And that was just the strangest road to a fight. Like seriously, it was supposed to be Diaz and GSP, and then he pissed off Dana White.
Just because of that layoff.
And
it's because of that layoff. Because GSP's getting older. That's a big layoff and a big surgery.
Yeah.
That's tough. What if he gets kicked in the knee and he's just off a little bit?
Well, he's
not going to fight Condit.
Granted, he got poked in the eye. He still didn't look that great against Jake Shields, though.
No, but he never looked in trouble.
No, but
he wasn't ever going to lose that fight.
No.
You know, there was no chance. Shields wasn't even close to a takedown.
He just seems a lot more apprehensive than he used to be, you know, about going for things, you know.
And that's what I was talking about the Dan Hardy fight. When he had him in those positions to tap him out or break it, and he didn't tap out, he had that arm and that shoulder in some terrible positions. I mean, I just thought, seriously, he's going to tap out any second. He has to. That arm and shoulder was so twisted and torqued, and he didn't tap out. And then GSP let it go and went for another submission. And it's like, well, so what? You didn't want to break his arm. I mean, has he turned into too nice of a guy that doesn't want to break someone's arm?
No, I don't think so. I think he's just...
You don't want to lose.
He's too, he's too.
He makes too much money. He makes $4 to $5 million a fight when it's all said and done. So he loses a fucking fight again, like he did Matt Serra. He doesn't make that money anymore. And at this point, I think he knows he wants to beat Silva. He wants to go down better than Silva, and
yeah, he's not going to take.
He's in a tougher spot. Who's going to beat Silva? Who's got the best shot? Sonnen, probably, right? After that, who's there? Who's going to beat him?
Palhares. Maybe.
Get the fuck out of here.
That's about the only person I can think of.
Palhares. Husamar.
You think of anybody else?
Nobody beats him. I don't think Palhares has a chance.
Maybe not, but
maybe if he can get him down, but he's too little. He's just going to get kicked and
Who else are they going to put on against him? I mean, there's nobody. Bisping? I mean, maybe they're going to put Bisping in there.
I would love to see it. Just because Bisping can't win that fight.
No, but
he's the best guy. I mean, Bisping's good. He's underrated. They don't give him enough credit. The guy keeps winning. He wins. He does beat good people.
But I mean, who else are they
he fought Rashad to a draw, or
against Silva?
Barely lost.
Yeah, I mean, if Silva beats Chael Sonnen, who else is left? I mean,
make the fight. I mean, get him and John Jones in the ring.
You know, I want him and St. Pierre.
I mean, that
fight could happen.
It'd either be
I think that fight could happen because they're both out about the same time. I don't think GSP will take the fight, but the fight could happen. I think Dana would put it on. Anderson would definitely take that fight because
he's the bigger guy.
He's going to win. He's going to beat him. He's the bigger guy, and the wrestling's not going to outdo that. You know, like he's just going to get picked apart and beat up, and that's going to make him always be second best. If they don't fight, it'll always be, what would have happened?
What would have been?
Right, like who's better, Muhammad Ali or Mike Tyson?
I think they should have did it.
Who knows?
Yeah.
A year or so ago. It's
get him on their way out. Anderson's getting old too.
Anderson's gonna be 38. So
changing landscape of the MMA. There's so many young people.
He's not that fucking old, is he? He's only 36. Holy shit!
Yeah, he's getting up there, man. He's been around for a long time.
That's old. That's what I'm saying. So he could fall too. But George St. Pierre has a better chance. He's got to fight those big guys that are going to be tough on him. You know, even Ellenberger I think is tough.
Jake Ellenberger's looked good.
Yeah, but he sure didn't look as good as he did
I didn't see the
San
Sanchez
Diego.
fight.
I mean,
I didn't see that.
I didn't see that one either. That was the one that was
man.
on the Fuel. I don't have Fuel TV, so...
I mean, I would agree that Ellenberger lost that fight. Or, I mean, won that fight, and Sanchez lost. But if it would have won another round, Sanchez wins. I mean...
But Diego Sanchez is a fighter. I mean, you can't count him out against anyone, really.
He absolutely lost the first 2 rounds, for sure. But that third round, he claimed close to finishing Ellenberger. And if it would have won another round, I think Ellenberger was gassed. I think it was over. You know, it goes 5 rounds, it's over. Sanchez wins.
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
It was a 3-rounder, right?
Yeah, it should have been 5. And even Dana White said they should have made it a 5-round fight.
And so all main events are supposed to be 5 rounds.
Yeah, they talked about that.
And that was a main event fight. That's what I had stopped by somewhere and I'd seen like the last, seriously, 45 seconds of the fight. And I was expecting around 4 because it was a main event fight. And it was only 3. And I was kind of disappointed. I was hoping to see the end of the fight, maybe see who would have won that fight and seen part of it. But I didn't see any of it except for that little bit.
Yeah, I think the most disappointing fight I saw recently was Demetrius Johnson versus Ian McCall. And I thought Ian McCall won the first round and Demetrius won the second. And McCall won the third for sure. And then
what was that on?
That was on probably FX. It was for the Flyweight tournament they're having for the championship. And it went to the judges. And honestly, at some point in the third round, some referees might have stopped it and given it to McCall by TKO because he was just, he had him down, he had him flattened, he was pounding on him. And then, it goes to decision. They award the match to Johnson, which I thought was a bad call to begin with. But then they go and said they added up the scorecards wrong and that Johnson didn't really win. And now they have to have a rematch. And they had set it up, the tournament, so that if it went to a draw, that it would go to a sudden death overtime round for 4th round. And we were supposed to get that 4th round, and we didn't get it. And the way that 3rd round ended, I think McCall would have won that fight. And granted, they're going to fight again, but I just felt like I got ripped off.
What's with the 4th round thing? That's for real? They had that?
Yeah, it was a sudden death round just for that tournament. It's basically a 4-person
tournament, Bill?
And it's a 4-person tournament.
I didn't even know about it.
No, I didn't know, and that's why I said the 4th round. I didn't know if that was real. I saw something about that where they were bitching about a 4th round, but I didn't know.
Yeah, we missed out on it.
Who would have that set up? You had just in case of a draw.
Yeah, they put
because they had to have a winner.
Yeah, they had to have a winner because of the tournament style, and it was Joseph Benavidez. And I can't remember who he fought. He fought a Japanese fighter that he dominated. I mean, he totally dominated that fight. I think he won in the 2nd round by submission.
And this was UFC.
Yeah. And
weird.
Then Ian McCall fought Johnson, which was an awesome fight, But we just got ripped off on how it finished.
They talk real high about that guy, Ian McCall. Isn't he the mustache guy?
Yeah, they do talk. They said that he was the number 1 flyweight in the world, but I mean, it's hard to say that when the UFC wasn't having flyweight. So
yeah, it's hard to judge any.
But
of
I mean,
shit.
It was a good fight though.
There's so many unknowns out there that are probably better.
I'm looking forward to the rematch, but honestly, it should be Benavidez fighting McCall already, in my opinion.
Bill, I know you haven't seen any of the Ultimate Fighter. Have you seen any of it, Rob?
Yeah, I've been watching
it. I haven't seen the last one, but I'm really liking that Lawrence kid. What's his first name? He was the number 1 pick.
The guy that just won by...
Yeah, he's from Missouri. He's from, like...
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. He's like a wrestler.
Yeah, he came out, he was in the first fight. He had in the I saw the season premiere, and he came out, I think you've seen that fight, Bill, where he was doing all those, like, kicks and, like, crazy kicks and flips and, like, just awesome. And I seen his last fight, and he didn't look as impressive, but it was against, like, a big veteran, and he pulled out the win, and he won. But I'm really impressed to see what he can do.
Is that the one fight that went to the 3rd round because they considered it a draw after 2 rounds?
No, no. It was the which one was it? Can't remember his name though.
I just don't know all those fighters well enough yet.
Yeah, it was one of like the 2nd or 3rd show. It was the one where what's the fight that coaches Cruz when he picked his fighter, which I think his last name is Lawrence, and then he told Faber's team to pick their own guy. Like he totally showed him up, like literally showed up the whole.
Yeah, they all looked like.
He was like
none of them would step up.
Yeah, like he'll go ahead and pick your fighter. He's like, go ahead, for your Faber. You can pick your fighter. And Uriah Faber looks at his whole team and goes, which one of you guys want to fight? And literally, not a single one of them raised their hand. They all kind of sat and looked at each other and kind of looked around.
It looked so bad.
He's like, what, nobody wants to take the fight? And he's like, nobody. He goes, so then...
He just picked somebody.
So then they just picked somebody. Cruz just said, okay, then him.
Uriah didn't want to pick the fighter, and none of his fighters wanted to fight him either.
It made them all look like a bunch of punks, man.
Yeah,
and then,
it looked bad.
And then at the house, they're
it's
all...
even. It's 2-2.
Is it even?
Yeah.
Okay. But what's funny, though, is that then in the house, all the guys were like, oh, well, I'll fight anyone. Like, well, what do you mean? No one raised their hand.
Yep.
I mean, obviously, you won't fight anyone.
Did they call them out like that?
Yeah, they did. Like, when they show them at the house, and they're all, like, making something to eat, and they're at the kitchen. And, like, all the team from Cruz is all like, man, we let you guys pick your fight, and none of you guys said anything. Like, you guys all just stood around, and not one person wanted to take the fight, and that's kind of, punkish or whatever. And they were like, oh, well, I'll fight anyone. They're like, obviously you won't because you didn't raise your hand, and it's like, if you're gonna fight anyone, you would have raised your hand and said, I'll take the fight. And then he went on to say, like, oh, well, it's just not smart to just go throw yourself in there against the number 1 overall pick and blah blah. But, well, you got to beat the guy at some point, right?
I mean, the best.
Yeah, I mean, if you're
might as well get him out of there.
Yeah, exactly. So it was pretty funny. But
I'll tell you what, though, I've been watching all those episodes, and after last week's episode, Dominic Cruz really comes across as a sneaky guy, man.
Yeah, he's
trying to get his guy on his team who basically betray his friend from his own camp and like pull out some dirt on the other fighter. I mean, the guy, they said they're like brothers. They've been like growing up fighting together, and he's like, oh, tell us what he does. He's trying to get him to snitch on it. I mean, it's just crazy. I mean,
playing the reality game.
I mean, he was, but I mean, the guy was right. He's like, I got to go home and still be friends with this guy, whether I win or lose. I can't betray my friend.
I wouldn't.
I mean, I lost a little bit of respect for Dominic Cruz after he started doing that. I was actually rooting for Cruz before that, just because
I think Faber was a better fighter.
Faber was just making stupid coaching decisions, but now I'm kind of on.
I just wish they would change the night. Friday night is just a terrible night.
Yeah, it is. But I like the live format, though.
I do like the format, and
it's not really live, just the fights, right?
But I like that.
Yeah, the fights live. They show you all the tapings.
I thought the goddamn
training.
show was going to be live, and I'm like, how are they going to do
I like
that?
how they pick the fights at the end of the show live, though.
Yeah.
I like that,
After the fights are over, like after the fight's done, they come down, they sit down, and they say, well, you have control. Who's going to be your fight for next week? So they pick the fight for next week, and then they film all the stuff for the whole week during the training classes, and then the show, they show all that, and then at the end of the show, they show the fight live. And it's kind of cool because it's live.
I like looking forward to the fight, though. I like knowing what the fight is next week and looking forward to it.
Yeah, as opposed to waiting to find out who's going to fight.
Right in the middle of the show, the way they did it before, And
you're going to get it.
The live thing doesn't really do much for me because, I don't really care if I'm watching it live or not because these guys aren't.
I think I only watched the first one that I remember.
Well, I noticed they bring people in to watch the fights. It's not just the teams and the judges. That they actually have people watching. Like, not a great deal amount, but like 15 people watching it. And it does give a little more energy around the cage than just hearing the coaches.
I like hearing that, though. Well, I'd like to see a real fight.
You could still hear
with
the
nobody
coaches.
in the nobody around and just hearing the corners and shit.
You can still hear the coaches, but you can also hear some cheering and booing and.
Tell you what, when
not so much
the premiere
booing,
episode,
cheering.
The first episode for the season was awful. Like the announcement was awful. Listening to Dominic Cruz and Uriah Faber and that dude from FX, whatever his name is, like talk about these fights. And
you talking about John Anik?
Yeah, I think
that's the guy from ESPN.
Yeah, and that like it was terrible. Like it was just literally the comments that Dominic Cruz and Uriah Faber were making were just like, wow, you guys should just seriously stick to fighting because you guys are terrible. Like the way they were, and honestly, I haven't seen a whole lot of the show, but I'm not sure much of their coaching abilities.
Well, their jokes, you know how they always play pranks. The coaches play pranks, the teams play pranks. Mm-hmm. They're all lame so far. They're drawing on each other's pictures. I mean, really?
Yeah, they put they made they made a thong.
Yeah, what happened to jacking off in somebody's fruit?
Yeah,
I
don't want to see that anymore, but. There have been
some serious shit, man. I'm surprised more shit they can go down.
Like when they took the tires off, whose car they took the tires off last season.
I know they ripped the Uriah Faber's parking spot thing off the thing.
Yeah, that was lame.
And that was lame. And then, but I did think it was kind of funny when they took the Uriah Faber's big picture, and they took some string and they made a thong out of tape to put over his butt chin. And like covered right over his little fucking right over his thing. Picture, yeah. It looked it was pretty funny looking picture, but it was kind of a lame joke though in general.
Comparatively though, like when Koscheck was trying to get under St. Pierre's skin, and they had like cars and they boxed his car in, and he couldn't like get inside of his car. That was funny. George St. Pierre goes out to his car. He can't even get in his own car. You know.
That's awesome.
You know they played more tricks, better tricks. Like I think they flower bombed someone's locker room once. You know, like they like threw a whole bunch of flour in there. Everybody's covered in flour.
They should snow globe somebody.
It was Bisping and Mayhem. Yeah, they flower bombed Mayhem's locker room. They're all covered in flour. It was hilarious.
Mayhem, didn't he just have a fight recently and lose again?
Did you see him pop off to Sonnen on Twitter?
No.
Chael Sonnen had said something about Alistair Overeem. He goes, what, pop for steroids or something? He goes, the guy's got the body fat of a toothbrush. He goes, looks like he's off a Street Fighter. He goes, I'm just stunned, is what he said. Something along those lines. And Mayhem comes back and says, Chael Sonnen talking about someone's test is like me talking about someone's bad haircut. And he comes back saying something about, I'm only going to talk to relevant fighters or something. Buy a t-shirt on your way out. And Mayhem just said he'd fight him anytime. Oh, he said he'd fight him anytime as long as if he makes it out of Brazil without his head on a pike or some shit.
And Mayhem could.
They fought already.
Mayhem they did fight.
They fought.
Chael Sonnen.
They fought a long time ago. They said it was in a
Who won?
Chael Sonnen. Yeah.
By decision.
They said it was in a ring, in a wooden ring, and they literally crashed through the ring onto the floor. And they pulled him up, and they were like, well, just don't fight on this side of the ring.
Yeah, I heard
so the
about
referee
that.
just kind of kept him on one side of the ring, so they had to fight in like 3/4 of a ring because they went through the floor and like onto the ground. And like they said, they were both like, what the fuck? We're in under the mat. Like, what the hell? So we climb out of the mat, and they're like, well, what are you going to do? Are we still going to fight or what? And the referees were like, well, you're the main attraction. You're the big fight, so just don't fight over here. And
it's a good show.
Yeah. You're
Top
fighting
match.
for a top promotion there when the ring caves in.
And Mayhem couldn't come close to beating Chael Sonnen.
No, he doesn't want to fight Chael Sonnen right
But
now.
After he looked against Bisping, are you kidding me?
Well, he gassed. Like
He did.
Like at the end of the first
he looked
round?
like shit.
I think I felt it had to do with the change of a fighter.
I liked that fight
totally
too. I thought
different.
Mayhem. I liked the guy. I thought he was good. He looked like shit.
Oh, you're talking about the Mayhem and Bisping fight?
Yeah, horrible.
Oh, dude, he came out the first round.
He
I'm
gassed.
surprised they
down
gave him
first
another
round.
fight. Honestly, I'm
I
surprised
was
they
too.
gave him
I
another
was
fight.
too. And then he went and got his ass whipped again. Who
No,
was
he
it
hasn't
by?
fought again.
No,
He
he's getting
hasn't?
ready to fight. I
No,
think.
he's got another fight coming up, but
I
he
thought
says he's what is he training? He says he's training his striking. That's what he said he's
I
been
forget
doing.
who
He
it
says
is.
he's
He's fighting somebody decent. Though.
he's training under
I
Eddie
thought
Roach.
he had another fight since he lost.
No, he says he's been training under Eddie Roach. Freddie Roach, not Eddie Roach. Sorry about that.
His little brother.
Yeah, his little brother. He can't afford Freddie Roach.
Yeah, not after that last fight. They didn't give him any bonus.
No, he's trying to get his striking up to subpar. Because his striking.
It was
awful.
horrible. But he had the 1-2. It was like a 1. Here's a straight right. Here's a straight right. Oh,
And
here's
that
a
was
jab
like
and a
it.
straight right.
He looked terrible.
Get the fuck out of here.
But
couldn't believe it.
I gotta say though, even though he sucked in that fight, he got a better takedown in the first round against Bisping than Chael Sonnen had the entire fight against Bisping. I mean, he had him in a good position. He almost had the mount, up against the cage. If the cage wasn't there, he had full mount. He had his legs grapevined.
Right.
But he gassed too quick. He had no cardio. He was done like by 4 minutes
He
of
had
the first
him
round.
down the ground. He had his legs in like that lock. He had his
Yeah,
legs
he
like
had him locked
locked
up.
around.
He couldn't
the
really
side
do a
end.
lot because the cage. I mean, he was getting some short shots in there.
But they were just.
But he won that first round. But
He
then the
definitely won the
second round,
first
he had
round because he
nothing.
controlled them on the ground the whole round. But he didn't do any real damage.
No, he
He
was up
didn't
against the
do
cage.
anything. All he did was just like tried to because he was on him in a weird position. It was like that low guard, like around. He had like his legs wrapped
locked,
around his
yeah.
knees.
Yeah.
So he had like such a low wrap around him that like he was sitting so high on him that he was just towering over him, which would be nice if
Yeah,
he
he
could
was
land
getting
some
little
good
bitty
punches.
short shots.
But all he was landing was these little tiny sit
But-
back and.
Comparatively, Chael Sonnen took him down every round, and Bisping got up every single round.
He did get up
right away.
He looked good.
He couldn't get up against
Bisping did look good. I don't like Bisping, but he did look good in the Chael.
He looked real good. I think he fought off the takedowns.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. When he fights Anderson Silva, if you think that he couldn't, you see how he had problems getting Bisping down.
Yeah, but
Anderson Silva's takedown defense is way better than Bisping's. But he just didn't show it in that fight. You didn't.
But I
still
think it was normal though. I mean, look at the way he came out and look at the way he took down Brian Stan. I mean,
it's Brian fucking Stan.
Yeah, but still, he took him down. Like he threw him down. He didn't just take him down.
That was his weakness
went
anyway.
He took him down and put him to the ground with authority, and he looked slow.
I'm not big on Brian Stan. I think Brian Stan's way overrated.
No, and the wrestling was his weak spot.
I mean, the only thing
that's where he was going to lose, and he goes in there, he doesn't even fight it off. He goes in, he throw a kick and got caught, I think, and he just gets taken down. Boom.
I think the only thing about
5 times.
The only thing Brian Stan shocked me with is that he was able to knock out Chris Lieben, which only one other person has been able to do that.
Right.
I mean, that's the only thing impressive about Brian Stan to me. I mean,
it just means he's got power because Lieben doesn't really cover his head. No. So
yeah, but who else is? I mean, Lieben's been hitting. Look
Silva.
How many times Mark Munoz hit Lieben in the head. I mean, and how hard he hit him.
I think Munoz is overrated too.
Yeah, but
what
Lieben was bleeding like he had been stabbed with a knife.
I don't know who he's going to fight. He got pulled out of. He was supposed to fight Bisping. Bisping got Sonnen.
No, he was supposed to fight. He was supposed to fight Chael Sonnen. Mark Munoz was
supposed
to fight Chael Sonnen.
Yeah, and then
he hurt himself. He hurt his shoulder or something.
Is he still recovering from that?
I don't know.
Because I mean, Chael Sonnen's had.
Was it a rotator cuff? Was that it?
I don't know, but I think he's overrated anyway.
I thought that was a big.
I never thought his wrestling looked all that good, and he's supposed to be a specialty.
That would have been. I don't think that would have been a very good fight. Munoz versus Sonnen. It would have been kind of.
Munoz.
I think that would have been a kind of a boring fight because.
I'm glad it didn't happen because I want the Anderson Chael too.
Yeah, me too.
And it wouldn't have happened with Munoz.
I mean, you got to have a. You got to have a definitive winner one way or another. I mean, yeah, you can say it was a definitive with Anderson Silva, but there's always going to be people that said, Chael was winning and he just got
caught. Just like
a punch.
So, just like a punch. Just like you get caught. Like just
1 minute left.
You get caught with the punch.
You could see in that fight Silva inching his legs up higher and higher to his shoulders. I could see the triangle coming. Sonnen was caught up. He only had a minute to go. You got to have a definitive winner. You got to have the rematch.
It was that straight right from the bottom though. He was postured up, and Anderson fucking stuck him straight right from the bottom and stuck him hard. And he dropped down, and he cut, and you seen him right there, and Anderson move over and slide his leg up. And then it was like, boop.
You guys really think anything's going to happen to Sonnen in Brazil, though?
No.
You think there'll be enough security, or you think nothing will really even be attempted?
You just never know.
No.
With the way those fans are, the way they are over soccer games and everything else, and as much shit he's just talked in general on Brazil, like saying, "Oh, I never."
They might throw some fucking beer cups at him.
I never would have. But people have died before over those.
Let's just throw this out there, though. Let's say nothing happens, right? And I know you don't agree with this, Bill, but I'm just going to throw it out there. And Sonnen wins. What happens then? Does anything happen then?
I think honestly, I think he gains fans.
You think so?
If he wins, they're going to have to embrace that because Anderson Silva.
You don't think there'll be a riot or anything
on the fucking planet? No riot because I mean, there's so many good fighters down there that if a fighter loses, I think they're going to have to respect the fact that he got his ass whooped.
It's not like Japan though. When a Japanese fighter loses or wins, they cheer regardless. In Brazil, even if it's a definitive win. Against Brazil, they still boo the guy,
Yeah, they'll still go crazy. I mean, look at those soccer games. I mean, like fans just literally going crazy, ripping down stadiums and riots.
Seriously, though, how's he going to lose? I mean,
it's going to happen.
Decision.
What's he going to get taken down and grinded for 5 rounds? It's not going to happen. He couldn't do that to Bisping. How do you think he's going to do that to Silva?
He is 38 almost.
That is true. He's old.
Unless he's going to be Randy Couture or Dan
Sonnen's not young either, though, I don't think.
I don't know how old Sonnen is.
Sonnen's like 36,
yeah,
34, 35. But he hasn't been in the amount of fights, though, I don't think.
Have you seen these Brazil guys fight when they're in Brazil? It's like they win.
Yeah,
they just win, and they all fight good. I think on the last card it was in Brazil, there was only one Brazil fighter that lost.
Right, and
it was Luis Kane, I think.
And the person that won got booed out of the building.
Yeah. Well, it'd be... Honestly, I won't even know what happens because I won't. I'll forget. I'll probably kick everybody out of the house and slam the door. It wouldn't be good. I'm gonna be so worked up for that fight. It'll be like the.
Well, there's gonna be a rubber match if Chael wins, though.
Yeah, there'd have to be.
Yeah,
but
you can't. Anderson Silva's not gonna retire on a loss.
I can't see him losing.
Sonnen?
He's
retiring. Oh no,
that's not gonna happen.
Oh man, I would love to see Chael Sonnen.
Honestly, the only reason I even put Chael Sonnen up as high as he is because of the fight with Anderson, because he did as good as I thought he did. Other than that, he doesn't look impressive.
As far as business goes, though, it's better for the UFC if Chael Sonnen wins, because then they could have that third match, and it would be
and who else are they going to have fight?
Yeah, it'd be huge.
And that clears up your question of who does Chael
probably
Sonnen fight
a two-rounder, one or two-rounder.
Silva fight next.
Chael's getting fucked up.
No,
he's getting fucked up bad. KO, TKO.
No. I'm just
he will not submit him. Even if he had him in a choke, he's going to let him up and beat the fuck out of him until he taps to strikes. He is not going to submit him.
It's a long way away still. What is it, July?
June.
Okay, so it's a couple months away still. I am a fan of Chael Sonnen, and I really like how he's entertaining in his interviews.
I love his interviews.
And honestly, I'm ready for Anderson Silva to lose. But I actually think Anderson Silva's going to win. I think he's going to win in the first round or the second round.
First or second round, that's what I think too. He's going to beat the fuck out of him.
We'll see.
It's going to be.
I'd actually prefer Chael to win.
He went in there last time with a broken rib, cracked rib, whatever the fuck. There was an issue. It was the only time he's ever walked out in a fucking gi. He wasn't bouncing around. He promised Nogueira he would submit him. Yeah. And then he went down. All Chael had to do was put his hands on him, and he fell down on his back. And he just fought on his back. Chael couldn't pass his guard. Didn't even really attempt towards the end.
That's one thing about Chael, though. A lot of times he just doesn't try to pass.
No, he just stays in that guard. And
throws little pussy punches the whole time and hopes that... Anderson was hitting him harder from the bottom.
They're not going to stand it up, though, because he's so active in the guard. He's not like other people... and just sits in the guard and
he will just
doesn't
sit there
do anything.
He'll try and pop out and kind of try.
Yeah, but when Anderson's healthy, he's not just going to lay there on his back and fight him like that either.
I'm not sure that Anderson's going to get taken down. Honestly.
He's not. He's not going to even hit his back.
I really want to see Chael win. I not only think it's good for the UFC, but I actually like Chael Sonnen a lot. But I just don't see it happening this time, unfortunately. Yeah, especially after the way he looked against Bisping. I mean, he just didn't look that good, and I don't want to take anything away from Bisping, but if Bisping's that good, then or Chael's that bad, one of the two.
I think as much as I dislike Bisping, I've never liked him.
He's underrated, man.
He's underrated.
You look at his record.
He's fought some of the best, and he's taken beatings from some of the best, but he's always been game, though. He's always put on a pretty good fight.
He deserves a title shot. He'd probably get his ass
at some point in time, he deserves... I mean, if he could put together a few, he would deserve...
He's put together a few, really. I mean, other than the Chael Sonnen loss, But was that a split? Was that a split decision? I can't remember. I don't know. It was close.
It was close.
Because, I mean, there was an argument that Bisping won 2 rounds, and I could see that from watching it. I wasn't sure. I remember thinking...
I think I gave it to Bisping, but I only watched it once. I think or maybe I did watch it again and I gave it to Sonnen the second time.
I remember watching it and I thought that for sure Chael won 1 round and Bisping won 1 round, but there was that 1 round, maybe it was the first round, that was really up in the air. I'm not sure.
I'm really looking at this card here coming up. I'm looking forward to the.
We got a little off track, didn't we?
We did. We're doing UFC. What is this? 140.
Should have named it something else.
145. And we've talked about like 2 of the fights so far.
So let's do a rundown of UFC 145. John Alessio, Mark Bocek.
I have Bocek, so do I. Just don't really know a whole lot about Alessio. He's a grappler, striker.
He did beat Phil Collins. I don't know if you know that.
He did beat
Phil Collins.
Did Phil Collins have his drumsticks? Or not?
I don't know. I think it was
That's a big factor.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's a real.
I
didn't see any pictures, and I couldn't look it up. I couldn't even see what Phil Collins' record was at the time. But I did notice that he beat Phil Collins. So you got to look at that.
Yeah,
when you think about the fight.
Consideration.
I mean, that's tough.
Was he with Genesis still? Because if he
had it was Genesis, a while ago. It was but it was only a few years, I think.
If you have Genesis with you, and you beat
he took some big losses. He lost to Alves by decision, I believe. Condit choked him out He lost to Diego Sanchez, Paul Daly.
Talking about Bocek?
No, Alessio.
Okay.
He's 34-14.
I did see his record was really a lot of fights.
Yeah, so he's lost to some good guys, so you got to put him up there with like Jeremy Horn. You know, he's taking a shitload of losses, but
Bocek's
against who?
Bocek looks pretty good though.
Yeah, he's gonna win.
He's tough. He's real tough on the ground too. He's slick, and he's got 2 black belts. He's Kempo too. I don't know shit about Kempo, but it sounds like it's tough.
I haven't heard anybody bring up.
Sounds like an intimidating
It does.
name.
It sounds tough. So
I train in Kempo. I'm like, whoa.
I think the last time I heard about Kempo was when I noticed it was written on Chuck Liddell's arm.
Yeah, you're right. It does say Kempo on his arm.
I don't think I've ever heard about Kempo since then.
3 of his 4 losses were to Edgar Henderson and Jim Miller, who are all top guys, if you ask me.
Is that Alessio?
Yeah, Bocek.
Bocek. Okay, yeah, I was looking. That's what I thought.
And Danzig, who's okie doke sometimes.
Yeah,
Looks real good sometimes. Sometimes.
Wait a minute. How many times did Bocek and Danzig fight more than once?
They did.
If they did, they went 1-1.
No, they didn't. No. Danzig has fought Matt Wyman twice.
Oh, that's who it was.
Yeah. And
I didn't like either one of those.
Beat him both times, didn't he?
He has. He lost to Wyman both times. But Mac Danzig, though,
He
I
beat
don't
him
know.
both times.
He's lost to Guida, Neer, Joe Stevenson, Jim Miller. So he's fought some tough guys. I mean, you look at that list of those guys. Those are.
I'm not a fan of Matt Danzig's.
He's a good.
Where's
fighter,
this card at? Is this Vegas?
No, this is. Are you? I don't know.
I don't know either.
The one's on tomorrow's in like Finland or something. Tomorrow, Sweden. Yeah, Sweden.
Yeah, it's the first time.
It's on at like 3:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah, it's the first time UFC's ever been.
Are they playing it live like that?
Yeah, it's on Fuel. I have to get Fuel still because I don't have it.
Yeah, I got Fuel. It's pretty cool. They got UFC stuff on all the time.
They play a lot of shit on there now. I don't have it either.
No.
It's like every night UFC something's on. UFC Insider, UFC.
I would like
this,
that.
UFC.
I'm gonna have to get it. I'm gonna have to add it to my already expensive charter.
Well, it's in Atlanta.
I don't have it in HD though, which kind of sucks. But
so I say Mark Bocek.
I do too.
Yeah,
probably by submission.
I actually think it's going to go to decision.
That's what I was kind of thinking. They both have a lot of fights. I mean, they're both. Either one of them. I mean, MMA can get caught and then finish, but I think it could go more decision than anything else.
I think Bocek. I think he finishes him. He comes out strong. Comes out tough. And he fights.
What do we got next?
Mark Hominick, Eddie. What is it? Yagan.
Eddie, yeah.
Yagan.
Yeah, I don't know anything about Eddie Yagan.
I don't either. But I like. We talked about Mark Hominick earlier.
Yeah, Mark Hominick's strong.
He's strong, and he's not going to be in Canada this time, so maybe he'll calm down. I know that's not.
He's going to take him down. I think he wins by TKO.
Yeah,
second or third.
I got him by TKO too.
What we got next?
He's
Torres.
tough. He's got good hands. He's sharp.
This Torres, the next one, the Torres and Michael MacDonald fight. I think that could be could honestly be a fight of the night. They're both good strikers. They're both real quick. But Michael MacDonald, man, his last fight. I just watched it earlier, and he fought. I can't remember who it was, but he knocked the shit out of him. I mean,
I think very possible fight of the night too. I didn't even want to pick. I got no pick down here. It's tough, man. He's tough. That Michael MacDonald's tough.
I'm going to go with Michael MacDonald just because Torres.
He's
I don't know,
solid.
Torres. He's great, but he's kind of struggled since WEC.
Yeah, he's 3-3 in his last 6.
Yeah, so he's kind of. I don't know what it is. He was looking fantastic. I mean, in WEC for a while, he was looking almost untouchable.
Yeah.
I mean, he was just dominating people for a while.
And he got fired for making that comment
about rape on a bus or something like that.
It was an awesome comment. I think it was off of a TV show, actually. Yeah, but it was like they need to change the name of rape vans to surprise vans. And they'd a lot more chicks would take rides in them or some shit like that.
I want to say that I think him getting fired was a little bit of bullshit.
I did too. I was like, but they gave him his job back.
He deserved to get his job back.
Right. I think it was more of a, look, we are running a business. You work for us. You got to watch your image at all times. They made an example of him. And the good thing is he took it like a champ. He said, yeah, I fucked up. I guess it is what it is, and oh well.
Yeah, but it was a little bit of favoritism because they had Rashad Evans and Forrest Griffin.
Yeah, what if Forrest Griffin said rape is the new missionary.
Yeah.
Didn't he?
Yeah, he didn't get nothing done to him.
Yeah, nothing was said. I think they need an example. There was probably something going on, and it was like...
That was the only person they can make an example of.
Yeah, why not?
And it all has to do with them making the deal with Fox.
I'm going to have to agree with you a little bit more about favoritism, even though. Because,
what are they going to do to Forrest? Forrest built the company, for real.
They're not going to do anything to Forrest.
Look at Rampage Jackson.
Stephen Bonner.
Look what he did. I mean, he got all... crazy.
What he go pulling an OJ, driving down the street and shit?
He's like, he plows some lady's car and then calls Dana White while he's like running from the police. What do I do, Dana? He's like, pull over, you dumbass. I mean, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, those certain guys are never going to have anything done with them. I mean, Stephen Bonner could lose 10 fights in a row.
He'll still be
there. He'll still have a job in like somewhere. He'll be the vice president of something.
Yeah, Stephen Bonner, since the fight that he lost to, Forrest Griffin, I mean...
Which I thought he won, the first one. Not the second.
Brendan Schaub, Ben Rothwell.
I got Brendan Schaub should win this fight, but Rothwell can win this. He's tough. I mean, in his last fight,
Rothwell is tough.
He fought Mark
Hard
Hunt.
to finish.
Didn't he fight Mike?
And Mark Hunt didn't finish him.
No, he didn't. Mark Hunt
just
I don't know how he didn't finish him because Mark Hunt, he was bleeding. I mean,
didn't Rothwell win? Win one of these fights in the last round? He was getting his ass whooped and then knocked somebody out.
No, that was the Pat Barry and the Czech Congo fight you're probably thinking about.
No, that was all in the first round. No, I'm talking third round. Yeah, no, that was against Okami. Whoever fought Okami. Betch or something.
Tim Boach?
Boach, yeah.
Boach.
Somebody. I put them in the same thing.
Yeah, I think Schaub wins, but by decision again. I don't think he's got the ability to knock out or submit Rothwell.
I think he knocks him out.
You think he?
I think Rothwell's too slow. Schaub's pretty quick for a big guy, and he's big, and he's powerful, man. He's really powerful.
Didn't he play like professional? Like wasn't he like
football?
Yeah, he was football. Yeah.
But if Mark Hunt couldn't knock out Rothwell, I don't think Schaub does.
I don't think so either.
But see,
Rothwell could knock out Schaub though, because he got knocked out twice.
And that's what I'm saying. He could knock out Schaub.
You know what? Roy Nelson and Nogueira both knocked him out.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a slow, plodding fight that Schaub tries to get down to the ground and control.
That's where if Schaub wants to win this fight, it's going to be on the ground.
And it goes to decision. And it's boring.
I disagree. I think he keeps it standing, and he just picks him apart and beats the fuck out of him. If he does take him down, he takes him down to submit him.
But Rothwell's looked more cut. He looked more lean. He looked more powerful. I don't think he wants to stand up with him.
When Velasquez was fighting Rothwell, he was punching him with some serious shots, and he was bleeding, and it looked bad, and Rothwell was still trying to get up.
Yeah.
I mean, he was not wanting to stay down, even though he was getting
hammered on.
Yeah, I mean he was getting his ass beat. I just don't think Schaub...
I think Schaub's got the power. That guy's tough, man.
I don't think he has...
He hits hard.
I think Schaub...
He's tall.
I'm not sure if there's somebody in the UFC that has the power. It's like Big Country, Roy Nelson.
He's hard to knock out.
I mean, that dude might not ever get knocked out.
And I feel like Ben Rothwell's in one of those same type classes. Has he ever been knocked out, Rothwell?
Maybe in the... What was he, in the IFC or something?
But he dominated the IFC, didn't he?
IFL?
Yeah, International Fight League.
Yeah, he might have been knocked out before. I don't know.
I don't think he has. And I think he's one of those guys that go along with it. That can you beat on him and beat on him, and he just doesn't.
His problem is he gasses.
He's too slow.
I mean,
Schaub's gonna fuck him up.
Second round.
If Schaub keeps on standing and it keeps the fight moving, he can easily wear him out in a round and a half, and then I could see him TKOing
Schaub's gonna be cautious too because he just got knocked out, didn't
he? Probably.
Who did he get knocked out by?
Was it? Wasn't Crow Cop? Was it?
No, he beat
Nogueira.
Nogueira, yeah.
That's right. Because I thought Nogueira. I thought that was a tough fight for Nogueira. I didn't. I think I picked Schaub in that fight.
Clipped him and
he got knocked out, and Roy Nelson knocked him out.
Roy Nelson hits hard too.
Yeah, I just think that he's going to be real cautious coming off a knockout. He's going to try to take.
I think Rothwell's going to. He's just going to have those big looping punches. They're not going to.
I think he's going to take him down, and
that's what Schaub's going to do. He's got to keep the fight moving. Keep Rothwell moving around. Keep him gas out.
He's going to gas anyway.
He's going to win by TKO.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that Brendan Schaub TKO.
For sure. I don't think we finished Torres and MacDonald.
We didn't, actually. We somehow got sidetracked. I've got Michael MacDonald. I really do. I actually
think Miguel Torres is going to come back strong, and he's going to win.
I'm leaning towards Torres, man. On paper, he's better.
I like Michael
even
MacDonald.
Even with the 6 losses. MacDonald's a kickboxer. He's tough. He's solid. I watched a couple of his old fights. He is. He's coming up. Torres is a good fight for him because Torres is kind of a skinnier guy. They're about the same height, but he's got good Muay Thai and underrated Muay Thai, I think. His striking's a lot better than you think, and when he hits the ground...
Torres?
Yeah, and Torres hits the ground, it's going to be
striking.
better. So...
I think Torres wins.
Torres is a Gracie black belt, not just a black belt.
Yeah, he's yeah.
So I'm gonna, if I have to pick, I would rather not pick as to fuck up my record, but I would have to go with Torres.
Yeah, and then, like I said, that could be the possible fight of the night.
I think Torres actually wins by decision. I'm picking a lot of decisions, but that's just the way I feel about it.
I'll go with submission.
I'm gonna go TKO Michael MacDonald.
Early or late?
Mid. I'm gonna say second round. I think the first round they're gonna kind of come out. They're gonna strike with each other. They're gonna bang a little bit, and then I think in the second round Michael MacDonald's gonna get comfortable and tee off.
Well, the real important question about that fight, though, is how long will Miguel Torres' mullet be? I mean,
I haven't seen him in a while.
That's gonna be important.
He says it's nothing to his dad's.
Really?
Yeah, he says his dad's got the mullet, and he says it's a Mexican thing. I didn't know that. I would have said, "Who's your hillbilly?" or something.
I mean, whether he wins or loses could highly depend on how big his mullet is.
He could. Maybe you should fight him backwards. Have a big party.
Party in the back.
Rory MacDonald, Shea Mills. We kind of
talked about that one a little bit. Yeah, I'm definitely going with Rory MacDonald, and I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna say submission because Shea Mills in his last fight he's got good striking, and from what I've seen he's got good striking. And if you're Rory MacDonald, you're like we said, you're grooming him. You don't want to lose. You know what I mean? You don't want to take one of these fights that they're grooming you in, and you don't want to lose. So he's gonna come out and he's gonna look to, I think, take it to the ground and show his ground skills and submit him. He's got 6 submissions, and he's got 6 submissions and like 4 KOs or knockouts. And I think he's gonna get submission and possibly be a submission of the night. My nominee for submission.
I honestly don't think Rory MacDonald. I don't really think that it's a challenge for him. I think that he's going to win in the first or second round by TKO. I think he's going to take him down and it's going to get stopped.
I think that, but I hate those fights when those fights are that you're supposed to win, you have to win.
There's always upset
because
factor.
You get almost too cocky, kind of like who were we talking about earlier? That's fighting in Canada. Hominick, yeah. When he got all excited and got popped and went down, and I don't want to see something like that happen again.
I don't think it will. I think Rory MacDonald already got his, eye opener when he fought Condit because he was winning that fight, and
he's so composed.
He just got a little overzealous.
He's always calm, and that's always good. In a fight, I think he's always going to think ahead. He seems really smart, and he's only 22.
Yeah.
He probably beats St. Pierre before he gets to the age that John Jones won if they give him the fight. Because St. Pierre's old, unless Condit beats him. I think you got to give St. Pierre a rematch no matter what.
I think Rory MacDonald would beat Condit in a rematch. Honestly,
he was beating him the first time.
They were, but I don't know. Condit's come a long way too. I mean, it's been a while.
I just think MacDonald's a real deal, man. He's going to be the future at 170. Yeah. Actually, if not 185, if he doesn't come up to take Anderson's place, because Anderson's getting old.
Yeah.
And he says he wants to move up, but not until he gets the belt.
Well, he's young. He's going to get bigger.
Yeah. He might not even be grown yet.
He's like John Jones.
And that's what I'm saying. When he's outmanning people already and he's stronger than them and he don't even got that man strength yet. Once he get that about 25, 26, when he gets that, then what happens, I
was talking to Tori about man strength the other day.
Well, before we talk about the main event, is any of these preliminary card fights?
Yes. I wanted to look at the, which one was it? We talked a little bit about it earlier, but not much. The Travis Browne, the Chad Griggs fight. That's on the preliminary for FX.
I like that fight.
Yeah, that's the main event.
It should be an exciting heavyweight fight, and there's not many exciting heavyweight fights.
No, there's not, and I'm really excited about that fight. I really want to see it. I like Travis Browne. I mean, he's 12-0-1. I mean, for a reason. He's knocking his power. He's big. He's 6'7". Yeah. Anytime you got a guy that's 6'7", it's just exciting to see. Unless he's Tim Sylvia.
Chad Griggs did really good in Strikeforce.
He's like 7'8".
Strikeforce. He looked really good in Strikeforce for being somebody that was originally on the Challenger Series and moved up.
You talking about Griggs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's not as big as Browne as far as height, but he's got a large reach for someone of his height.
I don't know what his reach is. I don't know what Chad Griggs' reach is. It didn't have.
He's kind of a lanky guy. I mean, he's I think it's going to be a good fight. I actually think Griggs is going to win that fight.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
I've got Travis Browne in that fight. I do. I like Travis Browne. He's good. I mean, he's got a pretty well-rounded game for being a guy who's 6'7". Yeah. I mean, usually you see guys that are 6'7", like I referenced Tim Sylvia. You got one element, power, and you're long, and you got reach. But he's really a well-rounded fighter, and I think it's going to be an exciting fight. And I think it's going to be a KO of the night in the first round.
I think all the Strikeforce guys, the heavyweights specifically, not so much anybody else so far at least, are highly underrated. All the Strikeforce heavyweights that have come over so far have all won.
Yeah, it's because the heavyweight division sucked. They kept saying that's why Strikeforce was making it for a while because of the heavyweight.
Because they had all the
They fucked that tournament up, but
yeah.
Griggs is 6'3" with a 73-inch reach, and Browne is 6'7" with a 78-inch reach.
He still has the
5-inch. That's a 5 inches big. It's not as big. 13-inch like John Jones usually enjoys. No.
But I think Travis Browne wins, but I also think he's supposed to win, and he's in for a tougher fight than he thinks.
Mm-hmm.
I think Griggs wins. I think it's going to be a good fight, though. I think he actually wins by KO.
By KO.
Yeah.
It's a big guy to drop.
Yeah, it is. But
it's a big guy to drop.
Yeah, you got to be in close to land him.
I mean, they both got great records. I mean, Travis Browne's 12-0-1, and Griggs is 11-1. So I mean, they both got good records. Griggs, he only started training like 3 years ago.
No, I didn't know that.
He walked into a gym where Don Fry trains, and at the time, like a couple years ago, Don Fry was priming for a fight in Dream or Pride.
That fucker has 100 wins.
Dude, Don Fry?
Yeah.
Dude, Don Fry's a bad man. He still fights.
100 wins, you know what I mean? And he lost a lot. That's what's fucked up. How much do you fight?
Dude.
He's fighting every Sunday.
But he needed somebody to spar against, so they put Chad Griggs in there, and he was just somebody big that he could just pound on and beat around. And so he learned from
he decided not to get beat up.
They threw Chad Griggs to Bobby Lashley because they were trying to build Bobby Lashley up as the next
and he beat him, didn't he?
Brock Lesnar, and he beat the crap out of Bobby Lashley. Stopped him in
I saw that fight.
Second round?
Was punching him in the head.
Yeah, he's beating the shit out of him. I mean, he's a good fighter. He's quick.
Lashley doesn't look like he could take a punch, though.
No, he didn't.
He looks like a prima donna. He looks like I'm this big muscle guy. I came from WWE, and I don't want to don't touch my face.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
We should have seen him fight Lesnar. They could have both slapped each other around and wrestled.
I like Griggs.
I like Griggs, I do, but I think Travis Browne's going to...
But what's good about this fight, I mean, and at least on paper, is neither one of these guys are going to be screwing around. They're going to both come at each other, and, Griggs is no bullshit. Travis is looking for a knockout.
He wants to move up.
It should be a good fight. It shouldn't be where they're trying to feel each other out bullshit.
Didn't he lose? What did he lose to Czech Congo, Travis Browne?
Yeah.
That's what set him back. He was ready to win that. He wanted to move up, so...
He's poised to take it up now.
The only thing is whenever you think you have a fight where both guys are just going to go at each other,
they come out and stop.
They're like real apprehensive.
They're like, come on now, what's going on here?
Well, John Jones and Rashad Evans.
Oh, to the big fight.
Main event.
I mean, I've got John Jones myself. My biggest concern is I hope John Jones is really focused on this fight because there's been a lot of talk of, if he wins this fight, he could be fighting Anderson Silva. There's been a lot of that talk. And I hope he's not thinking about that and not thinking about
I haven't even heard about that.
No, I think
I haven't heard about
honestly,
Anderson Silva at all.
I really think Anderson would beat him right now. Still.
I don't.
I think it would be tough because of the reach, but I think what John Jones does, Anderson does better and knows more about it. That guy is so above everybody else and how he trains and the stuff that he gets and takes in and the different things that he learns. I've seen him fucking on these videos wrestling people where they're wearing diapers and shit. You know what I mean? Like sand wrestling.
I saw that. Yeah.
I mean, he does everything, and it might not mean anything, but the little things that you pick up from that you can learn. I don't know. It's going to be sick. But Jones, I believe, in like 5 years is going to be better. He's going to break those records. He's going to be 24? That guy. 24 now.
John Jones is so confident right now that I think that if they offered anybody for him to fight in his weight range, he'd take it. I mean, he'll fight JDS, he'll fight Anderson Silva, and he'll believe he can win. it doesn't matter if he can or not. He believes
it'd be a bad match for Anderson. I just really think that I'm not sure if he gets caught with those spinning elbows and all that shit because Anderson's ahead of that.
I think if they did fight, and
he's going to wrestle him.
Yeah, he's going to take him down like he did Shogun, and it's going to
try to fight him.
And it's going to look kind of. I mean, look how small Shogun looked when he was on the ground.
He picked Shogun apart. I mean, Shogun, and he tapped to strikes. I mean.
Yeah, I mean, it looked bad. I mean, he's throwing in those vicious elbows on the ground. I mean, as far as this fight, though, Rashad and John Jones, Rashad's been saying for, over a year and a half that he's got Jones's number and that because they trained together that he had the best of him in training. I think it's all bullshit, honestly. I think it's just hype for the fight, and it's to make people believe that Rashad has a good chance because I believe John Jones is going to win this fight. And he's going to win it in the first or second round by TKO. I think it's going to be. I don't think he's going to. I mean, okay, Rashad barely beat Rampage. John Jones finished Rampage. Rashad got knocked out by Machida. John Jones finished Machida. I mean,
that was a nasty fucking fight.
He dropped Machida on his face, too, man.
Machida looked just like Rashad did after Machida knocked him out almost, just laying there googly-eyed and shit.
I mean,
dropped him.
There is argument that Rashad may be quicker and may be a better wrestler than John Jones, but every single person that was supposed to be a better wrestler than John Jones is out-wrestled.
I think John Jones looks like he should dominate, honestly. I don't think Rashad's going to get him down. He had trouble getting Rampage down. Yeah. I really don't think he's getting John Jones down.
I actually like Rashad. I'm a fan of Rashad. I'd like to see Rashad win because I just like him better.
I mean, if he can connect, they did train together, but that goes both ways.
Yeah,
so I don't see how that's helping
he's all about.
Rashad, except for the fact that Rashad was with those coaches. So like he was saying in that one interview, he knows what they're going to do, and I mean, I don't know that he knows what they're going to do, but he does know how they think and what they would say to beat them.
But they both know that.
As good as Rashad,
but Rashad's got new trainers now.
Yeah, as good as Rashad looked against Phil Davis, though, it's nothing compared to what John Jones has done in his last 3 fights. I mean,
the Phil Davis fight was a big letdown by Davis. Like he
but
looked like
Rashad did dominate that fight.
That's what I'm saying. It was a big Davis.
But he couldn't finish him. I mean, he couldn't finish Phil Davis in 5 rounds, even though he's dominating every single round, controlling him every single round.
He worked that fight. I mean, he worked him in that fight.
Yeah, he did. Davis is tough, though. They give him a lot of credit. I don't think he looks all that great, but people talk high about him.
Phil Davis is going to fight, what's the other guy? The guy that just beat Rampage over in Japan. I can't think of his name. Bader. Phil Davis is going to fight Bader next, isn't he?
Yeah, I guess. I don't like Bader either.
They have real similar style, so.
Yeah, let's say it's kind of a.
Except for Bader's got that big hand, knockout punch. I don't think Phil Davis has got that.
I don't like Bader either. I don't like him at all.
But I don't really think this is much of a challenge for John Jones.
I like the fight. I think it's somebody that I wanted to see him fight right after Machida. I'm glad Machida got the fight. He's got the real strong wrestling. He trained with him, so he's got that edge that nobody else is going to have. And like you said, he's faster if he connects, which is nobody's been able to do, really.
No.
Is he going to test that or not? And can he get him down? Probably. I mean, if it came to it. But I think what happens is Rashad's on his back.
Yeah.
And
I think
Rashad's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, so it could be better, but it's just going to be hard to do anything jiu-jitsu-wise to John Jones.
I think
his length is going to be a problem. His strength, he's going to posture too well, and
the only advantage Rashad has is his speed. I think he might be faster. That's it.
Rashad's got really strong legs, though. I mean, really strong legs, which could be.
But he's also like 5'9", or 5'10", or something.
Rashad just said that he can make 185. I mean. He's not. I mean, John Jones is going to be way bigger and stronger. I mean,
he's probably Forrest Griffin size now, or at least walking around. I would think 225, 235, somewhere in there.
I mean, Rashad's basing this, if he believes it, which I don't think he does, but he's basing this. I trained with him. I got the best of him in sparring.
Training and sparring.
From 2 years ago, I mean, when the guy was fighting,
when he was 22 years old. And
when he was fighting Stephan Bonner. You know, I mean, there's a big difference between fighting Stephan Bonner.
And you're also training, so how much respect goes into the fact that Rashad was the main guy?
Yeah.
Does John Jones really want to do anything right there? Does it matter?
Yeah.
Why not let him feel better?
Do you spar with George St. Pierre and purposely get the best of him?
Yeah, and just fucking
piss off the coaches? I don't think so.
No, you just let that go, especially when it doesn't matter. Who cares if the guy seems better? He's older. And
on the other hand, though, I do believe that John Jones did go back on his word as far as like the whole build-up where he said he would never fight Rashad, and then he went and said, "Yeah, I'd fight Rashad" right after he won the belt. He was the first to throw the gauntlet down.
I agree, but I don't, just for the fact that he's a champ. He's got to fight. What's he gonna say? And the way he put it in that interview was, "Hey, man, this is Dana White's world, and we're all just living in it."
That's true.
If he says they want to make that fight, then that's
and
what I got to do.
I do hate when
that's not calling him out. That's not anything. That's saying, look, I'm the champ. I'm going to fight whoever they put in front of me. If that's what they want to do,
right?
That's what I'm going to do.
Joe Silva and Dana White say, "Hey, you got to fight this guy."
When Rashad bitches about it, I think it makes him look like he doesn't want to fight him. Like, why does he want to fight him? Like, because he's the fucking champ. You should want to fight him whether it's your friend or not. And some of those guys talk like that, and I think it should be.
I do hate when Koscheck and Fitch say they'll never fight each other.
Yeah, because you need to see that fight.
But I do believe that John Jones
I would love to see that
put it out there first, before it was even even thought about that Rashad would fight John Jones.
I think it's a good fight, but I think Jones wins.
When do you think he wins?
Probably.
Early or late?
I think he's going to want it to go early. He's going to come out and want to prove it, but I don't think that Rashad's just going to drop down. And I doubt that. I mean, Jones too smart. He's not going to fight stupid, so he's not going to go balls out just to beat his ass and show him what's up. So I think it probably takes 2 or 3 rounds. I think he'll start slow, kind of like Anderson. See what's up, make sure that Rashad's not coming in.
Let me ask you this, and this isn't really a serious thing.
Third round.
This isn't really serious, but the last 2 fights, John Jones has come out kind of weird on the ground, like crawling around.
Yeah, he did it the first fight. He said, was it Rampage the first time?
Rampage and then Machida.
Right, Rampage the first time he said, because after studying the tapes, he said, what do you have to watch out for? How could he lose the fight? He said Rampage coming out and catching him with a big right hook right off tops, rushing him. So what can he do to avoid that? Well, let's put my hand down. Then he, for some reason, I guess he couldn't take the knee. He didn't know what to do to throw him off. Stay low so that he couldn't throw that big right. And he did it just for a second. And I think he just did it again in the Machida fight just to
do you think he does it a third time is what I want to know.
But I think you got
I think he does it against Rashad.
I think he'll do something weird.
You think he'll do something more weird?
Bill, I think you got that little...
Yeah.
What you're thinking about is that he, in the fight against Rashad, or against Rampage, he did it because he said that he didn't want to get clipped. So he thought if he could come in like that real low, and maybe go for a takedown real quickly, then he could try and get a takedown and stay away from a quick knockout. But against Machida, he was afraid of getting kicked off the start, with his legs. So he came out with the one hand down.
With the hand down to not get kicked.
So that way he couldn't get kicked in the head because he had a hand down on the ground.
Right.
I wonder if he's going to do it again. Maybe that'd be his new thing. He's going to start every fight on the ground.
I would think that Rashad would be ready for that and have something to answer for it just in case. I mean, you already seen it in his last 2 fights. I would be training for it.
I'm not even sure what you do, really. What do you do?
You fucking jump on him, probably. Rush him and bum rush him and take him down.
Like do a Brock Lesnar, Heath Herring thing?
Yeah, you just run in and you try to get him on his back and go ahead and take it. You want to get on the ground, then I'm going to jump on and try to get your back. But do you want to give up that position in the first round right off the tops and lose it, and then get stuck on your back with John Jones on top of you? Then he can get finished early. I think that Rashad will try to keep it standing for a while. Should.
I don't think he should.
Until he gets beat, because if he I don't know. I think that's his shot, is to catch him. I doubt he's going to out-wrestle the guy.
I think Rashad's chances to catch him.
He's got to catch him, man.
I don't think he can. I mean, the reach is the biggest problem. John Jones can hit somebody and then be across the cage in like a second. I mean,
it's going to be tough. I don't see how he can do it. He in the clinch. Rashad's never impressed me. He's never done anything in the clinch, damage-wise. If he does get him down, it takes him too long at that point to get position off the fence.
In the clinch.
Rashad, to me,
he's gonna fuck him up.
That could be the night. That could be the end of the night.
Big knees. He could get big knees, maybe. As a Muay Thai get down.
Rashad Evans is 5'9". He's shorter.
I think I'm probably underestimating.
He's under 6 foot.
Yeah, he's like 5'11", 5'10". He's short.
Yeah.
Probably got reach a little bit, but John Jones reach.
Jones is going to have another...
What's he, 81 inches or something ridiculous? 84?
83,
and he's 6'4" anyway. It's just huge. And it's just going to be bad. I mean, Rashad looks up to him.
Yeah. Rashad, I think, his best ability when he fights that I have always thought, and it's a lot like George St. Pierre, is his ability to change levels and transition into the takedown. Make it look like he's going to hit you and take you down. Mm-hmm. He's been very successful at taking down people that don't get taken down. But, I don't think he's going to be able to hold.
I think Jones knows that that's the only thing he can do is take him down. He says he's been working on the defense. I don't see him taking him down.
I think Jones gets right back up if he gets taken down.
Has anybody taken him down?
Jones? Every time.
Did Rampage get him down?
No.
He didn't take him down once?
I don't think so.
Every time someone's tried to take Jones down, Jones has taken them down.
Yeah, every time somebody gets him around, like trying to take him down, he just like spreads his legs, takes those big long legs and spreads them behind him.
How are you going to take that guy down?
Every time you try and set him down, it's like a big step.
But with the type of takedowns that Rashad and George St. Pierre do, it's very little reaction time because you're not expecting it. So, but keeping him down is a different story, Yeah, I don't think.
Or winning the fight, can he go 5 rounds?
No.
You think?
Not without.
You think he can go 5 rounds?
I don't think.
I think he can go 5 rounds. I think he has the cardio for it, but I don't think he can survive.
I don't think he'll survive 5 rounds. Yeah, I think it's going to be kind of a.
I'm rooting for him honestly, just because John Jones is that good. He's that good. He's that guy. Why not see Rashad win? It'd be good for him.
Yeah, I'd like.
And
to see
Rashad's tough.
Win.
I mean, look, he's the only fight that he's lost was
Machida.
Yeah, getting knocked out by Machida. He had the draw, which he really did lose that fight to Tito. Tito lost the point from holding the fence, and so it was a draw. So he really did win that fight.
You look at Rashad's record. I had this down here. He goes back last fights. Phil Davis, good fight. But Tito Ortiz, I mean, is he really legitimate? Tito Ortiz?
Yes, he is. He's a legit fighter.
But he beat him.
You think he still is?
I do. I think.
What did he beat him with? Knees?
Yeah, he beat the shit out of him. And that's the thing. Who else has finished Tito besides Chuck Liddell? And since Chuck Liddell, nobody.
And then you go back before that.
He beat. Didn't he?
No, they went all 3 rounds. Went to decision, and actually, Tito had Machida on a real tight triangle at one point and almost tapped him.
The last fight?
No, it was a while back. Okay. Tito and Machida.
Yeah, but the last fight was a TKO.
No, I'm just saying, all the fights that Tito was losing, he was still going 3 rounds, and nobody was really dominating him.
He's right. He did lose most of them by decision.
Yeah, I mean, nobody was dominating him. So yeah, he's relevant because he was in there with tough. He only fights tough guys, and even though he was losing, he wasn't getting whooped.
This is Tito's last fight coming up.
Yeah,
that's a bad fight for him too.
Is he fighting?
You think so?
Forrest Griffin. Again.
That's right.
They fought 3 times. This will be the 3rd fight. And each one is went to a
Forrest
split
Griffin
decision.
needs a win.
Was it really? I thought Forrest whooped him last time.
No, each fight went to split decision. First fight, Tito won by split decision. Second fight, Forrest won by split decision. I mean, sure, you could say that Forrest is better now, but I don't think he is.
Fuck, when was the last time he fought? Against Tito? I haven't seen Forrest Griffin fight. I guess he did fight Shogun and get whooped real quick.
Yeah, he got hurt bad by Shogun.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
Rampage Forrest fight is his last fight too.
Yeah, against Shogun.
I guess a lot of light heavyweights are leaving.
A lot of those people that started it are going to go. But you got some good guys.
Rampage isn't leaving because he's done with fighting, though. He's just leaving the UFC, right?
I think so.
I think he's mad at the UFC about something.
Yeah.
Probably money, I bet.
Yeah, he's not getting enough. He thinks they make too much off of him.
He's not winning.
Yeah, I mean, he's not what he used to be.
I can't believe he lost to Bader. I thought for sure he was going to be.
They're finally turning people over to not. They're not necessarily liking the characters. People still want people to win. They're actually liking the good fighters, not necessarily.
Whether he comes out howling with
it looks tough and shit or what, you know.
And the big huge power slam.
I think it worked 10 years ago. You know,
exactly.
Now people are like,
yeah, but I mean,
whatever.
do you really want to see Rampage just box? I mean,
That's all he does.
To me, that's the boring Rampage. The one that mixed it up in Pride and did different stuff was more exciting. You know.
What happened? I mean, do you think it's back problems? Do you think it's old age? You can't lift. I mean, did he strain his back out too many times, lifting guys way above his head and drilling?
He's not as he can't do it. It's not the other people are too good. It's too hard to get a hold of somebody. He even said one time that that the guys know better. They know how to stop it now. You know what I mean?
Could it have something to do with those earpieces that were in the headphones and the referees for Pride fighting?
Oh, they're like Chael Sonnen said.
Well, you know, he did still slam Bader even though he lost that fight.
Yeah, he did. And he tried. He wanted to get back to it. You know, he's thrown like 2 or 3 kicks in the last 5 fights.
2 or 3.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. Rampage is an entertaining character, but he's just not what he used to be.
And that's kind of what Vanderlei Silva.
Maybe the UFC's just passed him by. I don't know.
Yeah, he's getting old, man. Those people like. Those old guys, they were good then when people didn't know what was going on. Now that these guys have been training MMA since they got into, since they had hair on their balls, and now they're coming up knowing everything that's going on, they're not as good as they were. You know, they're not who they were.
Game's changing.
Right.
I mean, in general.
Right.
You know, if you put like Frank Shamrock, Ken Shamrock, you know, all those guys that were top of the game back 10 years ago, and you put them in their prime against the guys that are in the UFC today.
Yeah, it's like Royce Gracie and Matt Hughes, you know.
Exactly. Matt Hughes. Put Matt Hughes in his prime in the division that he's in today. How many wins does he have?
0.
Is he a Hall of Famer?
0. I don't think he beats anybody. Not top guys.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's so much different, you know, and it's so much different.
Because what was he? He was a tough wrestler, man. He was a country. He wasn't trained. He could not get submitted because he had the thick neck, and he never wore out, and he was a decent wrestler. But who's your guys that are going to wrestle, you know?
It's changing.
It is changing, but there's always fights, at least in some divisions, where these guys like Vanderlei Silva will still be able to put on good fights and fight people. I mean, he's fighting Vitor Belfort now. I mean, that's a good fight for him because they're both going to
get his ass kicked.
Right, but it's still a good fight because they're both going to come and fight, and it's not going to be one guy's so superior over the other that I don't
know. I think Vitor Belfort's going to look awfully superior.
Yeah, I think it might be kind of a replay of the last one.
Maybe, but I mean, they're going to come out and they're going to fight. It's not going to be someone comes in, takes them down, just overwhelms them, submits them, and you know the guys.
Yeah, I mean, even though Vanderlei's been knocked out a lot, you know, he took that big shot from Lieben. When he was fighting, when he fucking turned around and knocked him out, he took some big shots before that and didn't drop. Yeah. So it's not like he's got the Chuck Liddell syndrome yet.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate to say.
Well, it looks like we all got Bocek.
Yes.
We all got Hominick.
Yes.
We all got Brendan Schaub.
Yes.
And we all got Rory MacDonald.
Yep.
And we all got John Jones.
And I got Chad Griggs.
Which was a different one.
Uh-huh. Some of the other ones, just real quick. I think Mac Danzig beats Efren Escudero, and I don't like either one of those guys.
I think the same thing. Efren Escudero is the
Danzig did look good in the last fight. I watched him fight in. I don't know if that was his last fight.
I'd like to say that Efren Escudero is the worst Ultimate Fighter winner that's ever won.
See the one that fought Nam Fan twice? No, that's Leonard Garcia.
No,
fuck that guy.
Efren Escudero got thrown out of the UFC. I mean, he might be the only person that's ever won the Ultimate Fighter that got booted.
For what?
For losing too many times.
For sucking.
I mean, he's awful. And Matt Browne over Stephen Thompson by submission.
Yeah, I don't even know who's.
Actually, I have Stephen Thompson in that fight.
Who
I have Stephen Thompson. I've seen him once before. He's got like one fight. He looked good, and I think he's like 6-0, and he looks good. He looks.
Who'd he fight? He fought in the UFC already once?
Yeah, he fought. Look it up.
I think Matt Browne wins by submission in second or third.
Matt Browne,
he's talented. He's never going to be any more than middle card, but
yeah, he'll never be a champ.
But he's talented, and he's tough. I mean, look at all the submission attempts that Lytle had him in before he finally got him. You know. Also that weekend, I don't know if I know I mentioned it to Bill earlier, but Bellator. That weekend, big deal. I guess on Spike TV.
Holy shit! That fucker has 63 wins.
Who?
Oh, it's a kickboxing record. I was like, God damn, this Stephen Thompson.
Yeah, he looks good, man. He looks.
Yeah, Bellator's on that weekend too. Same, not the same day, but maybe the next day.
Did you finally hear about that guy I've been telling you about, Ben Askren? He just won like the Bellator like championship, but everybody's kind of down on him because he's kind of a boring fight.
Yeah,
but nobody can beat him. He's from St. Louis.
Yeah, he's a Missouri wrestler.
Yeah.
Well, Eddie Alvarez is fighting Shinya Aoki on that Bellator card, and it's Eddie Alvarez's last fight with Bellator, and you can almost bet money on it that he's coming to the UFC, and that's a big deal to me because win or lose, hopefully win, but win or lose, he's Frankie Edgar's training partner. I mean, a lot of the top 10 pound for pound,
talked about him before.
He is always in the top 5 light heavyweights. They always put him and Gilbert Melendez up there,
right.
And those are pretty much the only 2 lightweights that really need to be in the UFC, in my opinion. Gilbert Melendez and Eddie Alvarez. And I think it's a big deal if he shows up in the UFC. Hopefully he beats Shinya Aoki and then shows up in the UFC with a win over a prominent Japanese fighter. Not quite as prominent as he was a few years ago, but still a prominent fighter.
What Bellator?
And free TV, so,
Right.
So it's Spike, you said?
Yeah, Spike. Yeah, Bellator basically got to deal with who is it? The Viacom? Viacom owns Spike and MTV and all that.
Oh, and aren't they starting their own thing?
Yeah, they basically got Bellator, and Bellator is going to be their thing. And
they go with that. That's smart. Bellator's the best one out of all of them because they do the different format.
Yeah, they do the tournament format.
The problem is if they get to where they're starting to compete, man, they're not. That's when they're if they want to get a chunk of it, Dana White will jump in and do something.
Yeah, you might see maybe Rampage show up over there. I mean, he says next fight is last fight. UFC.
I don't know. They don't pay those guys like that. They don't bring in those guys and pay them hefty fines. They only really bring up new guys.
I mean, is he just going to make movies? Because he says...
they got those, what's the gay one that they got Lashley fighting in and Fedor and all that shit. SFL
M1?
or something.
No.
Fedor's
you're MFC?
Fedor's going back to
it's
M1.
Super Fight League or something. SFL.
Fedor's going back to...
He's supposed to be fighting a jiu-jitsu match or something.
He's going back to M1.
Fedor, he's had, 2 or 3 wins since he lost to Bigfoot?
Yeah, I think so. But to who, though?
I thought just one.
It doesn't matter. He's just trying to cement his legacy, I guess.
I mean, I don't know
He's
why,
never going to be in the UFC.
No. But I don't know why he's still trying to,
M1 wants too much.
Might be fighting Hollis Gracie. And it's not a jiu-jitsu match. It's just a jiu-jitsu guy. It's Nick Diaz that's fighting a jiu-jitsu match.
So, anybody wonder why they haven't put Damian Maia and Paul Harris against each other? I've been wondering that. I mean, isn't that the fight everybody wants to see those two in? I mean, both high-level jiu-jitsu black belts.
That Paul Harris is nasty, though, man, if he gets a hold of you. I think Maia's in trouble if he...
I think so, too, but, I mean, everybody always touts
I'm a big Maia fan,
Everybody touts how great Maia is at jiu-jitsu. Well, I mean, that's the fight people want to see. People don't want to see him versus a striker or a wrestler because, I mean, it's boring. I mean...
Yeah, Super Fight League. Fun.
Bobby Lashley.
Yeah. I guess they'll be the ones that take all the people, the leftovers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the other things. They build talent, Bellator especially. They're going to bring in a lot of guys that once they get out of there, they're going to come over.
What did you find in that Stephen Thompson inning?
He had 6 wins. It said 6-2, but I only found the 6 wins and nobody I knew. I'll have to go with Matt Browne just for the. I know how he fights, but I'm not picking that shit. I didn't even want to pick. What was it, Torres and MacDonald? Honestly, I don't want to count that against me because
You just don't know.
I wouldn't want to pick it. I already picked, 5 out of 6? I only pick 3 or 4 usually, just to make sure I stay okay. I'm 64%, though. I don't think you can beat me.
Let's see.
I guess. We can start now.
Oh, we almost all picked the same guys, except for
I know.
Chad Griggs.
Pretty much.
I guess I come out the winner if
Littlefield picked Michael MacDonald.
Oh, that's right.
That's right.
So me and you both had 1 off, and me and you 1 off, and everybody the same.
So you guys think...
Easy card then, I guess.
Yeah. Who are you guys going to think is going to replace Overeem if he's replaced at all?
I don't think he's going to be replaced.
You think they're going to knock that
I just think they're going
fight
to
off
have
too
to.
hard?
No. They said that JDS will fight.
But who?
I think Bigfoot, man. And I think you got the best point. I mean, Hunt is, they could give it to him. But can they give it to him? I think they can give it to Bigfoot because he hasn't had any fight in the UFC.
They could give it to
He's
Hunt,
more of an unknown, so why not go ahead?
What
He
if
fills
Hunt
in.
won?
Give him
Timing, man.
Give him a title shot, though? Or just an
It's
exhibition
timing.
fight?
Hey, man, it's timing. For
What if
Bigfoot,
what if they
fuck
gave it
Nelson.
to Hunt and Hunt knocks out JDS? That would be messed up.
I don't.
because-
I think they should give it to Bigfoot and then just let Hunt fight Roy Nelson if he wants to get in the fight.
Hey, I'm down for that. I'd like to see Hunt versus Roy Nelson.
Put that fight in there. Give Bigfoot because he's the bigger guy. I think he finishes Roy Nelson anyway.
Who's Pat Barry going to fight next?
I don't know, but I like every one of Pat Barry's fights.
He's fighting somebody. It's set up.
I like
far as
Pat
I know.
Barry a lot. The last fight he just had against...
Win or lose, I always enjoy his fights.
I can't remember who he just...
He's an exciting heavyweight, and there's very few exciting heavyweights in my opinion.
I like Pat Barry. He's a good fighter. He's an upcoming... I mean, he's still young. He's improving. Big power. I mean...
Yeah, it's too bad he can't be a light heavyweight because he's really short.
He is short.
That's he got a lot of weight on his legs. I don't think he could ever make light heavyweight.
Yeah, because he's 6 foot tall, I think, even, or 5'11" or some shit like that.
Yeah, I don't know how tall he is.
His
He's
legs
supposed to be this big striker, but he's too short.
His legs are enormous. He'd never be able to cut that much weight.
If you were playing a video game, would you want to use that guy? You can't because you can't punch anymore. You always want the bigger guy.
I enjoy the hell out of his fights, though. His fights are always good.
That fight with Congo was crazy.
Yeah.
Fucking crazy.
I
like when he's talking about how he went when they woke him up. He was getting up and he was like, "Hey, man, I killed that guy." He thought he won. Like, oh, just lay there for a second,
I
man.
tell you this guy.
Wait till you wake up.
You're gonna be unhappy when
But you can see why he would think that. Fuck, he knocked him down three
times?
times. There was twice that Rogan, 2 or 3 times that Rogan said, "Oh, that's it.
It's it.
It's over. It's over." Oh, wait.
Does anybody else feel that it should have been over?
No.
I'm
After watching it, no. He was getting knocked the fuck out, but he was always moving.
I really hate when they
never
call
out.
premature knockouts.
I think they were good on the Fedor Henderson fight. I think that was called right.
That was a great stop.
Fedor was knocked the fuck out, and
he fell on his face.
Okay, he knocked him back conscious and started fighting. So okay, what are you going to let it go 10 more seconds and take 15 more punches to the face? Because Henderson wasn't going to fucking stop.
Speaking of Henderson, so we all think John Jones is going to win. I guess John Jones, Henderson next?
Yep. If Henderson needs to take a fight, probably, though. But Jones will fight, every 2 or 3 months. He doesn't give a shit.
Well, it's because his fights, he doesn't take any damage.
Get beat up.
And they go pretty quick.
Yeah, and he's young. I like that fight, too. I mean, it's one of those fights I want to see John Jones fight, but I don't see how Henderson can win.
I don't either.
I see how he can. He catches them. All of these people, Rampage, Henderson, Rashad, if they can catch him, because he's never been flushly punched.
Yeah.
I mean, Rampage caught him. Rampage got him a couple times, and he looked composed the whole time.
But Rampage has a longer reach than Dan Henderson.
Either way, Henderson throws with power. If he can connect on him and put him in that oh fuck mode, that's what you haven't seen John Jones in. And can he come out of that? Can he come out of oh fuck, I'm getting knocked out and stay composed? And I think he can at this point. I think Rampage tested that enough.
I honestly think out of every person that John Jones has fought since, including Shogun, since he's become the champion, the best chance of anybody beating him is Dan Henderson. And that's only because if he touches him on the chin, it might be over.
Yeah, maybe he can work him in the clinch, even though he's bigger.
I just don't see it ever. I don't ever see
Henderson in the clinch is no joke.
In a fist fight, I don't see Dan Henderson's fist getting that close to his chin.
Have you ever seen a fight with Dan Henderson where he hasn't hit somebody in the face? I mean, any fight he's
got that long reach too, and he's got some sick power.
He always throws that overhand right.
Has he ever
overhand
fought
left?
It's a right.
It's a right.
It's a
and he always
right.
touches people. I mean, it doesn't matter how good of a striker though.
But Jones is smart enough to know to avoid that.
84-inch reach. I mean, how many guys have an 84-inch reach?
And he's smart enough to avoid that. Jones would sit there and circle the whole time. He's going to pick him, stay away. He's going to kick him.
You can't say he hasn't fought people with long reaches because he fought the Nogueira brothers in Pride in the heavyweight division. They got to have a huge reach advantage over him.
Yeah, but not like John Jones is going to have.
He did fight Anderson and took him down the first round and beat him, but he couldn't do nothing to him. He couldn't advance on him, and then got smashed in the second round.
Was that the right game plan for him? Because, I mean, he's wanted to fight Anderson again for a long time. I mean, maybe he shouldn't have took him down. Maybe he should have stood with him. I mean, has anybody ever knocked out Dan Henderson? I don't think they have. I mean, I don't know it for sure, but I don't think anybody's ever knocked out Dan Henderson. I know he's been submitted, but I don't think he's ever been knocked out.
I've never heard of
it. He probably should have just stood with Anderson Silva and took his chances, hoping he got that hit, Just get that magic punch, Maybe
somebody's got to catch. But, I mean, then does that count? Somebody catches him, knocks out John Jones, they're the man now? No.
It counts until the next match.
I want to see somebody come in and beat his ass.
I want to see somebody more than just
somebody come in and beat his ass. Otherwise, he's the best.
There's no one in the division that I could say that person has a chance of beating John Jones.
No, that's why he needs to stay at 205 though, because he runs into problems in heavyweight.
Yeah, he's super confident though. I mean, he wouldn't throw out there that he'd fight JDS. If he wasn't
because
super
do you
confident.
think JDS is any less confident?
No, I think
that kid
JDS,
is hungry, man.
I think JDS would knock out John Jones is what I think would happen.
Yeah, he's big. He's just as big, so he's going to be there. He's probably just as fast.
He's probably the reach isn't much different. I mean, I actually believe John Jones probably has a longer reach.
No, it's the longest in the UFC.
But it wouldn't be more than a couple inches,
Right.
I think JDS has got like a 77.
76,
77. He's got 84, so you're still talking like a
little one-dimensional, though, for Jones. That's where it'd come in, where Jones mixes everything up. But when you watch him fight, it's like everything else is moving so much slower.
We've never seen JDS on the ground. I mean, JDS is like the UFC's new Chuck Liddell. Awesome takedown defense, knockout power. I mean, that's what he does. I mean, Shane Carwin couldn't take him down, and he was like, All-American or something?
And he trains with the jiu-jitsu guys, so you can't doubt him if it goes there, but...
Shane Carwin's back hasn't been right, though, in a long time.
Yeah, but was it not right before that fight? I mean, I don't know.
He said it's been... In an interview I read from
He fucked him up.
I mean...
He fucked him up.
What he shrugged off... Yeah. He shrugged off what Cain Velasquez one attempt before he knocked him out. I mean, we're talking about world-class wrestlers not being able to take down JDS.
It's that big. It's that... Because you look, he's only 240, 245, and he's tall. He's it's like John Jones. It's hard to take him down no matter how good wrestler you are because...
Black House is an awesome training facility for him. I mean, look at all the people there.
What happened to the little white kid that trained at Black House on the show? Is he still on the show?
That's what I'm talking about, that Lawrence kid.
He's still on it?
Yeah, he's from St. Louis.
He was a guy right off the top that I thought, damn, that kid... At first he was like, I trained with Anderson Silva. And I guess they're training anybody, And he comes out and was like, looking like, fighting like Machida, and he throws every fucking punch and kick counted. He was throwing them with authority. I was like,
earlier at the beginning
holy shit, that dude's going to be tough.
You know where he's from?
And you know that they didn't come out and let him represent Black House and not send somebody else that knew what was going on.
I heard that, speaking of the Ultimate Fighter, I heard that you can see Ultimate Fighter Brazil in the United States.
Online somewhere?
Actually, I heard that they show it on Sundays. I don't know what channel, though. I'm going to have to check that out.
Probably fucking Fuel.
Probably.
I don't know. I wonder if it's in English, though. Probably not. I bet you it's English subtitles. But I'm going to try to find out when that's on, because, honestly, I'd rather see that one probably than Cruz and Faber. I mean, Silva versus Belfort's more interesting to me. I mean, I've already seen.
That just sucks for. I like Vanderlei. That's just a bad fight for him, I think.
Well, I mean,
there's an Ultimate Fighter Brazil.
Yeah, there's two going
on right now.
I didn't know.
Yeah, he wants to have.
Who's the coaches?
Vitor
and Silva.
They're going to start doing them in all the countries and shit.
They want to do them in China and Australia.
They want to have them go at the same time and then take all the winners and put them in on a show or in a bracket or something.
They're years away from that, but it'd be cool eventually.
I agree.
It seems like it's been a long time since the UFC's been in England. I mean, it seems like it's been a while. They usually do at least one a year, don't they?
They've been going around so many different places that I think it's just hard to go back all the time. Now you look in the United States, they were jumping around all kind of crazy cities. I looked to go to one, to hopefully find one that was somewhere close, and there was one in Virginia maybe at one point, but it was a Fuel TV card or a fucking FX card, something gay.
Go to Vegas.
I don't understand why.
Yeah, it was all Vegas, but I don't like to fly, and that's a long ass fucking drive.
I don't understand why the UFC can't be in Missouri.
24 hours or some shit, ain't it?
I mean, does anybody know why?
Yeah, a little longer. Huh?
Anybody know why the UFC can't be in Missouri?
Because of the whole elbows and knees thing.
Strikeforce was here.
Strikeforce does it.
But but
they do elbows.
Yeah, they do elbows in the ground.
When I was at the last Strikeforce event that was here, I watched them. It was the Overeem fights, I think. I watched them start smashing people on the ground, and I was right where the entrance shit came in, you know. And I asked one of the security guys. I was like, "Hey, what's up with that? What's up with the elbows?" I thought they were illegal in Missouri. That's why they couldn't do it, and I'm steadily seeing elbows on the ground. And he said at that point that they had done it 2 years ago.
Well, see,
they had changed it or something.
Here's the deal.
I don't even think that's right. I still don't think they changed it.
They didn't used to have elbows on the ground, but as soon as Zuffa got involved with Strikeforce, they put the unified rules into effect, and they do elbows on the ground now. So
somehow they slid it through because I saw elbows on the ground at the fight.
Melendez throwing elbows on the ground every fight. I mean.
Yeah, so they can do it.
It's different states, though. Different states.
Actually,
they've been in Missouri though.
Actually, they would come. I don't know what site it was on or why I found it, but Dana White was on somewhere doing a question thing, you know, where people could get online and type in their shit. And I got on there. It was on like right when I got right away, and I put my question to him was, you know, when are you coming to St. Louis? You know, I'm from here. And he actually got the question and was like, "Oh, when are we going to St. Louis?" He goes, "Oh, we have talked about it because you guys got Budweiser." This is what he said. And that's about it, and blew it off and went on. It was kind of like, so yeah, maybe. And then kind of went on to the next shit. Yeah. There's not much going on here, you know. What are they going to bring it to? Is it big enough? Trade. I mean, there's definitely places for them to go. You know, they can do the Chaffetz Arena. They could do Scott Trade for sure. You know, but what I'm saying is, are the people from St. Louis going to go? You know, when they had Strikeforce events, they got 9,000, I think.
I think they got 12 at the one I went to, where it was
the first one.
Yeah, it was the one where Andre Arlovsky was on the card.
I went to both of the ones in St. Louis.
I think they gave away 3,000 tickets though. I think they only sold $9,000. All right, did they have 3 in St. Louis then?
I only know.
I
went to 2.
I only know of 2. Yeah.
Oh, so there was one. I thought I went to 2. Went to Overeem. No, I guess I only went to 1.
Arlovsky fought. Man, what was his name? The guy with he had a mohawk.
Yeah, Brett Rogers.
Brett Rogers. Yeah.
He got beat up.
Yeah, Arlovsky lost in like 10 seconds or something.
Arlovsky was such a disappointment for me. I was a big fan of Arlovsky for a while.
I was too, and you know he's still a good fighter, but he just can't take a punch anymore.
Who did Overeem fight? I thought he fought Brett Rogers when I watched it.
He did. Overeem beat the crap out of him.
Yeah, he fought Brett Rogers here in St. Louis again. Brett Rogers
and he fought Arlovsky?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Brett Rogers just fought in St. Louis.
See, I saw both of those fights.
Yeah.
So I did go to both Strikeforces. There was only 2. There wasn't 3.
Yeah, the only 2 that I know of. Yeah, the only 2 that I know of.
Oh, then none of them had 12,000. It was 9,000 and 7,000, I think, of people.
Wow.
But that's Strikeforce. So that Strikeforce is advertising. That's Strikeforce's production. If Strikeforce can do 9,000, UFC could do 12, and they could easily go to that Chaffetz Arena or Family Arena if they really wanted to. But they're in St. Charles. I doubt that would be good. I would think they'd want to go downtown.
I don't know.
Arena only holds
St. Charles has a lot of fights, though. St. Charles.
They do a lot of fights because it's good for it. But the UFC coming in would probably want to go to St. Louis and downtown St. Louis because you're going to need the problem is hotel situations and that kind of shit. You know, is what they run into. You know, if they do it out in St. Charles, is there enough hotels to accommodate all those people that are coming out of town to go to this UFC event? It's a lot of what they do when they're picking those places.
I would say they would, because there's a lot of those sweet places out there, like the people would stay at.
I don't think enough. I think they need it downtown, right there.
I don't know.
Chaffetz is downtown enough, but I think you would go Savas. I don't see why they wouldn't do Savas. Fuck, Finney's put on fights at Savas. Why wouldn't the UFC? Yeah. Because they don't have to open the whole thing up. They do like the half of it or the bottom. I mean, because what does that hold anyway? 17,000, doesn't it?
22, I thought.
At the hockey stadium, which means they could probably fit 24.
Speaking of which, I gotta do an update on this hockey game. I want to see if our Blues won.
Yeah, I think I don't know. It's enough. They would probably do Savas, but basically, he said they had talked about it and they would do it, but only because we have Budweiser, and I guess there's no other attractions that anybody gives a shit.
Yeah, I guess St. Louis isn't much of a fight town.
You know, if they can pull out of town,
fighting town. They
don't give us a chance. There's nothing in Missouri. Bring a UFC here, you know. Just so I don't have to drive to go see it. Fuck.
Yeah, I guess the closest they had one in Chicago, right?
Chicago they did Columbus, Ohio. It was pretty close. That was Anderson Silva, and I actually was going to buy tickets decided, better not do that. I'm not sure if I got enough money. Then it went on sale. Then the next day I decided, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and get those tickets, and I got on, and they were fucking sold out. And it would have been, I don't think it mattered. It was Anderson Silva and Patrick Cote, when his knee blew out, so the fight sucked anyway, but I still would have got to see him and got to see the fucking UFC event,
Patrick Cote just fought recently. I was seeing on Yahoo.
Really? Did he? I didn't know he was still alive.
Yeah, I knew he was alive, but
yeah, he was
I didn't know he fought anybody.
On some small promotion,
Roger Huerta quit too, didn't he? Retired.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Did you ever see that video with him beating up them people outside? That was badass.
That's the last I saw. He was beating up a college football player.
Yeah, some guy stole some chick's purse or hit her or some shit. They're outside of a club. And, dude, the dude's like 260. Like, he was a big guy. And Huerta's little fucking punk ass, at 155, probably pulls his shirt off, starts like going after him, and just fucking beats the shit out of this guy. Takes off, and there's guys like with the camera going, that's a UFC fighter. It's a fucking UFC fighter and shit. And he takes off.
Yeah, you can watch it on YouTube.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, he beat the crap out of it.
That would suck to get your ass whooped by a UFC fighter.
I mean,
fucking outside of bar somewhere.
You didn't know it was him, especially a little 155er. You think he looks little.
He rips his shirt off. You're like, he's ripped. But
Gardner seen Matt Hughes somewhere and shit. Says he looks tiny as shit. He goes, if you seen him at a bar, he wouldn't even think twice about popping off if the guy started talking shit.
Yeah, you can see in the video. You can watch the NFL guy punch the girl right in the face. That's the beginning of the video.
Yeah, it's crazy. And Huerta does. I mean, the dude's just laying on the ground like fucking bloodied and fucked up.
He's like, what?
Yeah.
He's like, what?
It's fucking crazy.
He's
like John Jones taking out that robber that time.
Yeah. Huerta, I don't know what happened to Huerta. I mean, he was doing pretty damn good in the UFC.
He lost that fight to...
he lost to Guida, didn't he?
Yeah, Clay Guida, I think.
It
was a good fight, too. It was a good fight.
But then he went to Bellator and started losing in Bellator.
Yeah.
He lost Eddie Alvarez, and then I think he lost.
It sucks if you get that kind of recognition and you're not that champion, and then get dropped down to these other places where you're fighting these no-name guys. Yeah. You're supposed to be somebody, and then you're getting beat because you weren't all that good in the first place. I mean, you were good, but you're not champion stuff.
He got all that reputation and popularity because he was the first UFC fighter on Sports Illustrated. So I mean, that gave him.
He was a little pretty boy.
Deal. They made a big deal out of him, and then he didn't live up to it, I guess. But I mean, his fights were exciting,
Yeah, it was good.
Got his ass beat by Eddie Alvarez, though. So.
Well, guys, I appreciate you coming out, having you on. Looks like the picks won't put us too far apart from each other.
No.
But maybe we're all wrong, or we're all fucking geniuses. One
of the two.
I'm hoping geniuses.
One of the two.
Yeah.
I mean.
Hopefully, maybe you can make it out for 146, Rob, if you're feeling up to it.
When's 146?
Next weekend, not this Saturday. No. 21st.
That's 140. That's what we're talking about.
Oh,
we're talking about for the next card that we can talk about.
Okay. What are you doing? What are you doing for the 145 fights?
Hey, you should come down, man, if you can.
Well, I was thinking maybe I mentioned this to him. Maybe after the fights, just do another little follow up to kind of recap how our picks went and everything.
Yeah, if I'm feeling well, I'll be more than happy to come over. If you guys are having it.
Yeah, I mean, what about the podcast afterwards? What about doing that?
Shouldn't be a problem. That's Saturday night?
Yeah.
It shouldn't be
we need to see if we can get you Skyped in.
What's a Skype?
Like where you can do it from your house. You don't have to come in. When you're not feeling up to it, we'll get you on.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah. Been pretty sick lately, but,
I was wondering about that. I don't know how you've been.
Yeah, it's getting better,
I know didn't they try doing something with your veins the last time I seen you and they said it didn't work?
Yeah, but it's working now.
Oh, it is working now?
The do it, the better I feel, honestly. But there's been some weird things here and there, but for the most part, it's better.
I'm glad to hear you're doing better.
Yeah, better than feeling sick all the time and ill.